Phil Phillips here. I come to you today with a heavy heart. Well, why is your heart heavy, Phil? Well, I'll tell you. It's because it's heavy with the burden of knowledge that the devil is using toys and cartoons to reach out from his world into ours and corrupt the youth of America. Well, I don't believe that's possible, Phil, is what you're thinking. I don't believe the devil would use something as innocent as He-Man and the masters of the universe to corrupt the innocents. Well, let me tell you how it goes. Let me walk you through it. So you get these toys, right? You get this beefy hunky He-Man. You get this scantily clad Tila in from from where I'm sitting. She's in lingerie, okay? And you start playing with them, and it starts simple enough. Hey, I'm He-Man. I'm here to talk to Tila about stuff. Well, I'm Tila, and I'm here to talk to He-Man about stuff. Well, let's go fight evil together. Well, yeah, let's do it. Let's go off on an adventure. And then they're off on the adventure, and they're sweating, and they're getting tired, and they're bonding. It's kind of like in that movie Speed. When they've been through something really high stakes together, it confuses the heart. So the next thing you know is they get confused when they're out on their mission. And he says, well, hey, Tila, you got a little bit of sweat there. Let me wipe it off. And she looks at him in the eyes and she says, sorry, I'm getting a little hot under the collar. And then he looks down and he says, I don't see any collar. Right? And the next thing you know, he's taking her clothes off. She's reaching up under his little furry briefs, seeing what she can discover. This snake staff's not going to be the only snake in her hand. Right? And if you think I'm overreacting, if you think I'm exaggerating, they are now making adult films based on these innocent properties. Still don't believe me? Let's take a look. So what we have here, look at that. Tila and He-Man. Look familiar? Looks kind of like the game I was just... Oh, but what's happening? What's she about to do? What's he doing? Where's he going? Right? Now you see that and you think maybe Phil's on to something. But it can't be as bad as he's saying it is. Well, let's take a look. Look at that. What's he doing with his hands? I've never seen anybody do that before. He's sweating real hard now. So's she. Looks like she's kind of, I don't know, bewildered but also excited. I've never seen an expression like that on a woman. How does he do that? How does he make her surprised and also feel good? Yeah, it's happening is the point. And it's happening right in front of our eyes. Don't believe me? Let's take a look. Now look at that. Here comes Evelyn. Oh, okay. Can I join the party? Can I make us even more wicked? Well, sure you can, Evelyn. Get on in here and do what? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. They're not going to be procreating. You can't make babies from bumping the same part together. But they're going to try. And they're going to try hard. Now let's take a look. Oh, God, what are we looking at? I can't tell. Let's look again. Oh, okay. I'm seeing it a little more clearly now. Yeah, it's definitely evil. That is evil, what they're doing. Oh, that is so evil and juicy, but evil. And this is what I'm telling you about, guys. We got to take this seriously. The devil...
Hello, there we are.
Hello there.
We are here.
Wait, we are?
Yeah.
Where are we?
We're right.
It's all done with
Mars.
mirrors.
Well, we're live from the Polly Marx's studio.
Oh, wow.
Polly Marx's studio in beautiful downtown Madripoor.
Yeah.
Heart of the People's Revolution.
what are we looking at? What is that? I don't know. That guy's pretty funny. He's got a movie on I mean, I guess you find it wherever, but I happen to spot it on the old Amazon Prime. It's I don't know, it seems like something to be up you guys' alley. It's a kind of a based on like a TTRPG type thing.
Oh, huh.
But it's like a comedy horror almost. I haven't watched it, so I don't really know for sure, but
So
But my
so
only
Bob, was
question
that the movie he was watching? Was that the
Yeah.
movie you saw yesterday?
I was going to ask. It's very similar. I was going to ask. I was curious if that was a real porno that they dug up, or did they stage one to look
it
like an
seems
old
to
porno?
look like a real one, actually. I mean, just based on what I could, I don't know.
I am not a
I will have to do some
pornologist.
further research to figure it out.
Because the inflatable He-Man suit was a weird choice for porno when there are so many porn actors who have chiseled physiques.
Are there? I mean, like
It's not hard.
comparatively,
There's enough. There's enough. I'm sure.
almost conversely to what these chuds were saying last week about how, like, men are so much more attractive and stuff like that. Asmongold and Nick Fuentes and who else was there? The other one,
Andrew Tate. Andrew
Andrew
Tate was
Tate,
saying,
yeah.
yeah.
They're saying men are, it's like, but honestly, whenever I've checked out a porn, it's very often, in my opinion, and this is being objective. I'm not saying because like, oh, guys are gross or anything, but like the guys are often older and kind of just slobbier looking. You know what I mean? than the women.
Well,
I don't know what deals with that.
That's an audience self-insert, right? Or maybe actually, I think it's like the writers, the degenerate writers at the head of modern 21st century porn production are bringing down the craft by putting self-inserts into Mary Sue self-inserts into their porn. So like they're all fat, schlubby guys, just like the guys who run the studios. Same theme as bringing down Star Wars, except in reverse.
And not, Star Wars is fine.
Welcome
fine.
to the On Your Left live stream.
Over
This
there.
would be it's over on that side.
It's on that side, yeah.
Whichever side that is for you. Mirrors are confusing to me. I don't get them. I don't know. I don't understand. Yeah, so this is going to be something we're going to be doing that's kind of not anything too different from what we've already been doing, but so as we work on more researched series of podcasts that will come out in audio form on the podcast apps, and then also probably in sections on YouTube. As we do that, we're going to also be streaming once a week or so around that general topic, kind of loosely, just having some chats, and also we'll look at like various nerd news events and stuff like that. But because we've been working on the Israel and Krakoa episode, that is almost in the can. We got to finish up some stuff on that, but yeah, so we figured we'd take a look at some other other depictions of good old Israel in various media. And so that explains the thumbnail, because that's a pretty recent example of a lack of portrayal, actually, depiction. So
I think to give listeners a little bit more background, because there may be some people who aren't aware of what you were just saying, to fill in some of the blanks, right? The On Your Left podcast is going to be, like Dane said, audio, and we're going to do, I think, like a month-long theme for every subject, right? So the first one will be, it looks like it's going to be Israel, the real world nation, and Krakoa, the mutant nation from the comics, parallels, contrasts, etc. And we'll take, so that's what y'all should look forward to. The On Your Left podcast coming out soon. This live stream supports that.
Yep.
We're going to say things here that we didn't have room for or that didn't occur to us at the time we were recording, and then we'll move on. Yeah, have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
But
Live from Poly Marx's studios in Madripoor.
And stay tuned, because before too long, once we're going to get some episodes, some content rolling out first, but once we do, we're going to talk to you guys about what we're tentatively calling the Parasocialist program, which will be a way that real hardcore fans of the content and the channels can get some bonus content and see things, so on and so forth. You can be a parasocialist.
Damn Skippy. Nancy
Yep.
McLeod will probably talk about that a little bit too, because I have thoughts.
I shall star that then, rather than respond to it. I'm avoiding the impulse. So yeah. But first, before we get into a deeper discussion, let's talk about some news, some maybe some positive stuff, some various things. This is definitely a positive one. Dark Horse Workers United, which is a
Fuck yeah.
a union that was voted on by a majority of 59 workers at the Milwaukee, Oregon. It's not Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's the weaker Milwaukee, I know.
Yeah, but it's so close to me. And I know Sketchy Reggie, he had sent me a thing a couple weeks ago that was like, apply for managing editor, and I'm like, I don't have the fucking. I mean, I appreciate the you know what I mean, like, thanks, man, but I don't have the experience for that kind of thing. I would embarrass the shit out of myself for that kind of job.
Yeah.
It's very close to me. I have visited once. I didn't get to see as much of the inside as I'd like to. I need to look again and see if they do kind of like tours or whatever. But it is pretty cool. It's just real close to me. Anyway, so yeah, the workers union at Dark Horse. So the Dark Horse recently changed ownership for the first time. Period.
Wow, is that? Yeah, I guess that would be the first time.
At least, maybe that's not the case, but the manager of the guy that's been running Dark Horse, the editor that oversees everything, very hands-on guy, very much a fan of the craft. He was ousted for I'm not sure what reason, but then so essentially a venture capitalist type guy has purchased the company.
Yeah, good time to unionize then. For sure.
Yeah, so unionizing is very smart on their part, and Dark Horse as a company, did the right thing.
Yeah.
So statement from Dark Horse, because they voluntarily did it. They had they had a deadline to respond essentially by June 3rd, but they did. And they said voluntary recognition is an unusual step for employers, but in doing so, Dark Horse intends to reaffirm its commitment that this new leadership wants to do things differently and enter into good faith bargaining. Not because we were required to, but because it's the right thing to do. The path is a strong Dark Horse runs through a workforce that feels heard, respected, and genuinely invested in the company's future, not one that feels like it must fight just to be seen. I mean, fuck yeah. I mean, it's a little bit corporate-y.
Sure, but it's better than like, to point of comparison within the greater nerd sphere is the employees of Wizards of the Coast who make Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. One of their divisions, the ones that make the Magic the Gathering Arena video game, which is one of their digital clients to play the Magic trading card game, are trying to unionize, and WotC hired an a union breaking law firm to try and screw this up, and they didn't recognize the union. They've been sending mailers to people's homes and all of the other dirtbag things you do when you're a big dirtbag.
Well, so I'm seeing a name here that I didn't realize was involved here. Bob is probably going to recognize this one. I'm sure you will too, Morgan. So the company, Dark Horse's parent company, Embracer Group.
Ooh, they're no good.
Yeah.
Soon to become Fellowship Entertainment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
For those who do not know, Embracer Group owns a huge chunk of the non-film and non-television rights to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So theme parks, merch, games, whether board games or role-playing games or video games, music, all that stuff. They own the rights to that. And I think they have some kind of agreement with Warner Brothers.
Probably. I know they also, a few years ago, sort of in the wake of the pandemic, bought up a bunch of video game studios.
Yes.
And then loaded them down with the debt they used to buy those studios and then closed them.
So the guy that apparently is behind this, the head guy of Embracer Group, I suppose, he's he basically so the one thing that notes here is that they are from Sweden, which is a social-ish nation.
Social-ish.
So
way to put that.
It could be something to do with that. I mean, but it's the fact that they didn't fight it and they just came out and said, yeah, we're gonna maybe they have some evil corporate plan to just kill the union down the road, and they just figured this is the easiest way to not look bad right now. That could be
probably.
Yeah. Well, capital always has an interest in squashing labor. That's a given.
That's yep.
We should always
on
assume
the
that to be the case. But like, there are some good things that could come out of this too, at least at the consumer end. Like, we could get some really good comic book adaptations of the Lord of the Rings, for example.
That's possible.
Possibly.
Some good video games for Lord of the Rings could come out of this. So it's not all bad from a content perspective, but this is bad
what I
that
would
they
also,
own so much.
That's they have known the company has been known to just kind of shutter a company after buying it and kind of do some kind of switcheroo on assets and stuff like that I don't understand because I don't like money in general.
You're not made of evil.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need unions if there's no capital.
Right.
Right.
But the thing is that seemingly there hasn't, like, Dark Horse, what's his name? He's got a couple of channels, but it's this newer second channel called I forget his name, but he does some really good content. I actually was meant to introduce him to you guys. He kind of covered this whenever it first happened a while back, and he's really good about laying out a timeline of everything using images. Like,
that's cool.
And and it's real bare bones kind of thing. He doesn't put a lot of flair into it, but it serves the purpose. And he laid this all out and how this guy started out as a teenager, started some business, meaning the guy that at the head of Embracer Group, started some business, and then that's what it was. He basically bought up a bunch of video games that I think some of them were pretty rare or something like that, and then he ended up flipping those into a profit somehow. And then from there, he's a self-made guy for the most part, or at least early on, rather, not for the most part. At some point he definitely was just using money to have other people make him. But yeah, and so I'm not super confident about the direction of it, but we'll see what happens. Nonetheless, Dark Horse has consistently put out strong comics for decades. Like,
yeah, they have indeed. Yes.
And they got into the anime boom before anybody else
did. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy whenever you look at their their back catalog of like the timeline. They're taking risks on anime before anybody. Many of the basically almost a good chunk of comics properties that of that are not Marvel and DC came from Dark Horse.
Well, just think, Disney had Lucasfilm do an adaptation of a Dark Horse comic in Dark Empire.
Yeah.
Marvel Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker is an adaptation of the Star Wars the Dark Horse Star Wars comic book, Dark Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel is currently reprinting omnibuses of the Dark Horse era of Alien and Predator comics.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's now.
And those were, so especially for Predator, the Dark Horse comics era was like foundational to establishing a lot of the lore that is now in the movies.
Yeah.
That was not all, but most of it was developed in the comics.
If you watched any of Birdman's coverage of the Predator Badlands when it came out, and so what the Chuds were saying, he actually pointed out how there was stuff that was incorporated, not directly, but very much, like an idea that was planted in the comics decades ago is now, official movie canon. So,
well, I think even like the name of the species is not from the movies. That's from the comics, isn't it?
I think it's either that or a novelization, maybe. I'm not sure which. Probably the comics, though. Yeah. So the statement regarding Dark Horse Workers United says, to the members of Dark Horse Workers United and everyone at Dark Horse, I'm pleased to announce that Dark Horse Comics is willing to voluntarily recognize Dark Horse Workers United as a recognized collective bargaining representative under standards established by the National Labor Relations Board. Oh, by the way, this union is a kind of a offshoot of, like, their larger is the Communication Workers of America Local 7901.
Nice.
So they are part of like an established official, union that already existed. Which I imagine comes with some strength, But I was talking to Ernie, Blurred Without Fear, like yesterday, and I was saying that basically my budget is such that I can't really afford much of anything at all. But in the event that I'm able to afford to buy any comics, I think I'm just sticking to indie, as much as you can call Dark Horse indie. I still, it's still that, or at least deserves to be supported right now.
Yeah,
if possible, more than Marvel. Marvel's doing fine. DC, Warner Brothers is going to do whatever the fuck they want with DC. So
yeah.
Yeah. So I think Dark Horse is a good spot to look for some new comics to get into and maybe throw a few doll hairs at every month. Yeah.
Yeah, because Valiant really dropped the ball.
Yeah,
yes,
Valiant shit the bed.
It's pretty sad that the last time I heard anything about it was when they did a transphobia.
Yeah.
And that's the last time I cared to hear anything about it.
Same, but I mean, I just would have thought that I'd hear something else after that, but maybe they just got exactly what they deserve, which is, because I happened to spot that stream in my video titles when I was looking through my content on the channel the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, I swore them off at that point. I was totally into the new branding and stuff, and it was like,
you two were like talking about doing whole streams about just Valiant stuff, and y'all were all fucking hyped up, and like,
well, to be fair, but
then that was it.
That era of Valiant that we were talking about is still valid to make content on. It's still great comic book storytelling,
and you can read pretty much all of it for free in various locations. If you can't find it at your library or on like the Hoopla app or whatever, you can if you have Comixology, you can read all of it for free via that. And I would recommend it.
The Harbinger saga alone is one of the best comic book stories ever, especially if you're like an X-Men fan. It's kind of the same concept, but more gritty.
Right.
It's almost like, well, okay, so if you get tired of the lack of finality with mainstream superhero books or whatever, and also if you feel like they're a little bit too outlandish sometimes, it's not necessarily things I share, but I can understand those sentiments to a degree. I would say check out Harbinger because it very much has consequences. The things that happen have real consequences within the world, and things don't just go back to normal.
Yeah. And Valiant has a great stable of characters too. So I'm sure what the stumbles they're going through now, somebody else will come along and save them. The right publisher could really make something special out of that stock of characters and concepts.
Yep. If you didn't have enough reason to dislike Vin Diesel, it's kind of his fault that the movies are probably never going to get made because he put such a stink on.
What was it, Bloodshot?
Yeah. And what I've heard is that movie's not actually even terrible. It's just kind of boring and like no.
That's almost worse, right? Like a bad movie that's engaging because it's bad is at least engaging. A movie that's boring is worse.
I think we're going to get into one of those exactly here in a little bit.
We are. Look at that segue. I'm so good.
It is better to be bad and interesting than it is to be boring.
True. People still talk about the old Master of the Universe film for one thing. At least I think about it.
Or Tommy Wiseau's work, like The Room, is terrible, but it's so fascinatingly terrible.
So, I mean, if your question is, do I agree that DC is too white? Yeah. I mean, it's just objectively true. They haven't had, I think it's been like 4,000 days that, since they've had it is a pretty hyper specific metric that it was they're Ernie and them were basing it on. But I mean, it makes sense too, because like if you can't have
specific thing, DC is so white, or is it just a general statement?
The claim is that, and it's a true claim, that DC Comics has not had within mainstream continuity in an ongoing solo title a black character, black-led title for something like 4,000 days now. In his most recent video, Ernie pointed out that it's not the longest stretch that DC has done of that, where I think prior to, I think it was something like 98 to 2004 was a previous one that was pretty long. And then there was the one before that was something like 14 years between where they just did not have a black-led title that was ongoing in mainstream continuity. Now they do have like Absolute Green Lantern is, at least partially got a black lead. They've got team books that have black characters. Those exist in mainstream continuity, but of course Absolute is not mainstream continuity. And then team books are team books. And it's just like, it does kind of make a statement a little bit when you think about it, because why not? You know what I mean? There's plenty of good characters, and I'm not even a big DC fan, but I know there's several good black DC characters that could be the book. Mr. Terrific was just in a fucking movie, and he was a standout character.
John
and everybody
Stewart
loved
is
him.
probably the most recognizable Green Lantern. As far as non-comics audiences,
for certain generations, i.e., younger generations, John Stewart supplanted Hal Jordan as the Green Lantern a long time ago, and he really should be the anchor character for a Green Lantern title.
It's just
I mean,
like,
this just goes to show that if nothing else, Marvel is doing decent synergy with their movie. They may not be putting out the best
Well,
live action media they ever have, but their synergy tends to work a little bit better than this, right?
developing a TV show takes time.
years.
Also,
Yeah.
they have Eddie Gathegi has said publicly that the last thing I saw him say on that was that they were talking about doing something with Mr. Terrific as the leader of a team, either for a TV show, a miniseries, or something, because he was such a breakout character.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like,
I mean, it's understandable if they didn't necessarily know ahead of time that he was going to be so popular, but I mean,
yeah.
And I think the thing is the reason why. So DC So White turned into the boycott, which was DC Blackout, which Ernie has ended for reasons. Go watch his videos if you want to hear about what he says about it. But it all I can say is the reasons why it ended is not great. It's for the best, but it's pretty shitty situation all around. But mainly the thing is, I guess, that there are some announced titles down the line that are supposed to kind of remedy this. I suppose I don't know if that was already in works, or if not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
right,
yeah, I mean, we were kind of talking about in the Discord that I've kind of noticed a pattern of DC being now, Marvel's not 100% better or anything, but DC, in my perspective, my experience, has been the one that's been late to the party on representation. They've kind of seemed to drag their feet when it comes to it, and then not support new characters or whatever that are minority or female characters as much as Marvel would in some cases, whenever they wouldn't necessarily hit immedately, right?
Yeah. Part of it is generational inertia, I think.
Yeah.
Like when DC came up with their stable of stock characters, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, Aquaman, all comic book characters were white. And Marvel kind of hit its stride in the 60s when there was a lot more visibility for black characters.
Marvel almost defined itself by being the socially conscious, so I understand that DC's had a little bit of a catch-up game, but they've had plenty of time to be doing it at this point.
Yes, I agree. But what they're going to argue, hypothetical DC executive here would argue, well, we keep trying to launch all these ongoing series with characters of color or queer characters, or insert minority here, but nobody buys them. So what are we supposed to do?
I can't help but notice that they are all that for several years in a row now. I think 5. They've gotten that DC Pride book out every year.
Mm-hmm.
And
they also do a DC Power book every year for Black History Month.
Yeah, which to me is like, that's good. Obviously, I'm glad they do that, but at the same time, whenever they're not kind of following up and kind of putting anything out there as like a front and center mainline title that is in regular continuity, because unfortunately some people don't view outside of regular continuity as legit or whatever the fuck, I guess.
Right. That's just always going to be, and we've talked about at length on our various programs about how people take continuity and things being in continuity very seriously, and probably unduly so.
Yeah. Well, DC's official public position is that if we have published it, it is canon.
Right.
So people should shut the fuck up. Right.
I mean, yeah, if you understand canon from
they've got the whole milestone
thing
in print they could be doing stuff with.
And they've scuttled that a few times, just like before it's gotten even a few issues out. Like, you don't know. Not going to get time to breathe. If
they were going to bring Milestone back, they would, by necessity, need to make it black creators and people of color generally, and maybe that's the issue, right? That's where it kind of comes back to, okay, so why are they so against that?
Right.
I mean, you can look at and I'm not sitting here saying that Marvel is the ethically superior overall one or anything, because I'm not talking about any Marvel either, but like, they have plenty of creators that are clearly not white, not cis. It's there's plenty of them. Doesn't mean that they get the work they should. They're both companies tend to fall back on like Mark Waid and
right, Dan Slott,
okay. Mark Waid. Yeah,
I think that the only one that like I have never heard a bad thing about her as far as like a regular go-to writer is Gail Simone.
Yeah. I mean, she seems to have always gone out of her way to work with some of the worst people in some cases, and in order to appease them, just to get them to do a goddamn thing. The Van Scriver,
Yeah,
right,
and that of course bit her in the ass anyway because he's
yeah.
shit.
And another wrinkle that we've talked about before is that artists and writers don't want to create new characters of like Black characters or queer characters while working for one of the big two, because those characters become the property of the big two and not of them. So they lose creative control. So they'll just stick with writing the stable characters until they can do their own thing.
So a couple of things we've just mentioned here give us a good pivot point to the next thing I was going to show here. So when it comes to cis white men creators that are leaned on by both companies, there is one that I think most people generally like, and then also he's created a new character of late that's about to be a big focus in the next Marvel event. So before we go shitting on Marvel for very deserved weak ass choices,
yeah, we're gonna give Marvel a shit sandwich here. We're gonna talk about something good they're doing. We're gonna shit on them, and maybe we'll return to praise.
Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto, the fucking awesome team that worked on sorry, fucking drawing a blank here. Well, I guess have they worked together? Yeah, they worked together on Daredevil. That's right.
Right.
Which is an incredible run. And then Cicchetto most recently did Ultimate Spider-Man, and Zdarsky's done all kinds of stuff, but now they are going to be heading up the new Avengers book coming out in August, October, something like that, in the wake of Armageddon. And it seems to be they've kind of November. So they've kind of promoted this as being like the biggest shakeup to the Avengers team since Avengers Disassembled, which if anybody's not aware, that's whenever they officially added Wolverine, Spider-Man, and to a degree Daredevil. He didn't really stay on too long, and it was also I don't even think it wasn't even the real Daredevil. It was fucking Iron Fist in Daredevil's costume.
Right. I was gonna say it's Iron Fist.
So yeah.
Because he was dealing with something else at the time. He was wanted, I think. I forget the deal.
Yeah, he went to prison around that time.
Yeah.
Let's see. So share screen. This lineup is going to have some good characters, some classics. You got Luke Cage, you've got Captain Marvel. Why isn't this sharing? What the hell? There we go.
There, okay.
Luke Cage, Captain Marvel, Daredevil, Wolverine.
So that's a lot of that same new Avengers team, right? Like
it seems a lot like the new Avengers team, except yeah. So for anybody that wasn't around for that period of Avengers comics, you had two Avengers books. One of them was the more street level team that also had Doctor Strange. That was typically called the New Avengers. That was Daredevil, Spider-Man, and so on. Sorry, and then I'm trying to get it straight here because I'm thinking of different times that they
There's been a few times they've done the New Avengers.
But this seems to be the official lineup, at least starting out. It's going to be that, and that notable for not having a Captain America, honestly.
First time in a while we haven't had a Cap.
Well, there's a Captain Marvel, so there's still a captain on the team.
Yeah, well,
But she's not known as Cap, so.
No.
Yeah, they've called her that sometimes, but I mean,
really?
no Iron Man either.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because Cap was on New Avengers for a while until he died, but didn't die because it was a time bullet.
Yeah.
Oh, the time bullet.
Yeah. I mean, or the time that the exact same period in publication history that Batman got hit with the Omega sanction, which sent him through time.
That's right. Yeah, it's the same fucking story written in parallel by different people who I don't think like each other.
I mean, they at least, I don't think they planned it, but maybe
Yeah.
editorial did to some degree. I don't know.
So I think I remember reading something back in the day that Brubaker didn't like Morrison and that like he had a problem with them. I don't remember.
They have very different writing styles. That's
They
for sure.
very much do.
So which one was Armageddon and which one was Deep Impact?
Oh God! I mean, personally, I would definitely say, look, I love Morrison. Morrison's written some of my favorite stuff, but in that case, I would have to say that Brubaker was the one that was Armageddon.
I am the exact opposite.
Is that saying that it's the better one or not?
Yes.
Okay.
I think
because I think Deep Impact is a better film than Armageddon.
Oh
personally.
wow! Hey, but Deep Impact doesn't have the song though. The song. Come on, the Aerosmith song. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, this comes right after the Armageddon event that's just about to start now. If you've been following the first, there was the Captain America run that Zdarsky's been doing, and then there's more recently, there's a wrapped up 4-issue miniseries called Weapons of Armageddon. Both of those dealt with like Captain America introduced the character, and then he was followed up with in Weapons of Armageddon a character named Dave Colton, who is a retcon character.
Yep.
So I mean, he's still not even like a fully original new character. So that's
So Dave Colton is they moved, because Marvel does this semi-regularly, where they moved the time scale forward, and so now the Avengers weren't active until after 9/11.
I think the Avengers were active, but it was Captain America that was not unfrozen until after
Right.
9/11.
Captain America wasn't they hadn't found him yet, because that's a pretty early Avengers story.
True.
And so to have a Captain America, they make a new one for the war in Afghanistan, and
it doesn't go well.
It doesn't go well.
Really
good. I recommend the book. Like, holy shit, is it good? I cried a lot.
The interesting thing is Dave Colton is not a bad person, and it's all like I think Zdarsky's done a terrific job of showing, kind of the impossible situation that especially these those wars put people in. You know what I mean? Where it's like a guy that's just trying to do his best and live up to an ideal, but when there's no when it's not being done for any good reason at all, it's kind of hard to come out of that looking clean. And he makes some trauma informed choices while he's over in Latveria, I believe. He kind of, but look, even Steve Rogers still kind of treats him with empathy, and then he goes off to kind of live on his own in a cabin in the woods somewhere. Doesn't see himself as fit to even be part of society.
Right, much less Cap.
But then Wolverine comes crashing through his house,
like they do. Like sometimes you're just having a day, and you just get bubbed on.
You don't understand it. No, I mean, I understand it. I mean, it's like it's creating a way to look at Captain America and without and to kind of.
You missed the joke there. Sorry.
Oh, what? I don't understand it.
Yeah,
he's doing the legacy.
He's doing Eric July.
Okay, all right.
So I mean, anyway, I see Dave Colton as a way of Zdarsky to pay tribute to the Captain America being, Captain America, and also breaking down the legacy of Captain America in a way that doesn't, just completely shit on the character for any creator to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can kind of he's having his cake and eating it too, I think. But spoiler alert for the end of Weapons of Armageddon, Dave Colton gets basically blown in half, and he's just got super soldier serum. He's not like anything more than Cap is.
He doesn't just, before he gets broken in half, he does have, because one of the things that happens in that first part of the Captain America comic book is after Steve stops him, he has a heart attack.
Right.
Because the super soldier serum, they've never replicated it perfectly. And so his heart gives out, and Tony Stark saves his life by giving him an arc reactor in his chest. Yep. So
that's the condition he's in when he then gets basically ripped in half by the events of that comic that have to do with, it actually ties the Weapon X program in with that was already done, but it's a new story that kind of creates a more legacy between the two.
It's a nice little refresh of that.
The whole MacGuffin of that Weapons of Armageddon thing is one of the origin boxes from the newer Ultimate Universe. One of the things that Tony Stark created So like whenever he went to Peter Parker, who was in his 30s and married, he was like, gave him a box that he opens it and it kind of explains who he was meant to be, who he's supposed to be, and then gives him a power source so that he can become that if he chooses to. And of course he did. But some of those origin boxes did not go where they were supposed to go. In fact, Miles, whenever Miles had his incursion into that universe, Tony Stark gave him some of the boxes to keep safe. And so I forget how that one ended up in the possession of the new Weapon X type program, but it did.
There's still part of the problem is that the Miles portion of that story is still ongoing.
I think it finally ended.
But Spot was hired to steal them.
Right. Yeah.
And they end up like fighting in Spot's portal verse, and they end up just shitting everywhere.
Well, now, so it does seem like we might get some new characters because that did just happen. Where several boxes just went into the random lives of random strangers who, now seemingly going to get some unknown powers. But what happens with
appropriately themed powers for their personality, because this is still Marvel.
Yeah,
I would like to propose that instead of sitting here spoiling currently ongoing,
fair
comic book stories for people,
nobody's reading these.
we should maybe move on to what we were going to talk about.
Point being that Dave Colton is going to be a big part of this new this Armageddon event that's happening, and he's got some
nothing
new powers.
good is going to happen to my boy, and I'm just going to have to live with it.
It's going to be a tragic case, I think.
We finally got a ginger Captain America, and look what they did to our boy. His ginger side all over again.
They gave him awesome powers, seemingly, but we don't know anything beyond that yet. But nonetheless, what else we got? We got footage from Wolverine game, but that's not really,
So apparently,
the title of the stream is kind of what I think. I think that's what we should talk about first.
Sure,
okay.
That was the whole point.
I don't know about that, Bob.
And we're kind of on the Marvel. Segue anyway.
Well, before we shift gears and just say that Marvel fucking ruined a Captain America movie, and I think Bob doesn't feel as strongly about it as I do. We can talk about it, but Captain America, cowardly old world, is a movie. Apparently,
it is legally speaking a movie.
Pillar of Garbage, I think, did the definitive review of that movie whenever he covered it and said that it was basically the first apolitical thriller.
Yeah.
Very good way of describing it. So there was a Hulk comic. I'm sure many of you are already aware of this. There was a Hulk comic, I think in the 80s, that was introduced the character of what's her name?
Sabra,
whatever. Who, believe it or not, was kind of in that movie, but not in the way that she was originally supposed to be.
The movie we're talking about, of course, is Captain America: Brave New World.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when they started making that movie, I think might have even been prior to at least the writing of it prior to October 7th. And so I don't envy the position they were in, but I still think that they whiffed it, biffed it, miffed it. I don't know which word that is, but
they blinked.
They blinked.
Yeah.
There was a great depiction of the character in that Hulk comic that she debuted in back in the day. I think maybe there was no way they would have ever done anything close to how it's depicted in there. But still, I think they could have found some happier medium than what they ended up doing.
It is interesting to see that comic book from the 1980s and what it's saying about Israel and Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
And to look at what's going on now and see how little has changed.
Right. It very much is the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Except that it's now considered a bigger risk to say something nice about Palestinians
right.
than it was during Ronald Reagan's presidency, which is weird to me.
So, I mean, let's take note of the fact that her power is literally shooting a shitload of missiles.
That's just a decision.
Sabra is essentially Captain Israel.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, she doesn't have the super soldier serum, but she plays the role in Marvel Comics. She plays the role in Israel that Captain America plays for
Yeah, I
United
believe
States.
she's actually supposed to be a mutant.
I'm not sure about her power set, but that's her cultural niche in Israel. And in this story from the Hulk, I don't know if it was a single issue story or not, but they have a scene where like there's a Palestinian child who dies as collateral damage or something,
Yeah.
and Hulk is upset about it. And then she is moved to see the Palestinian child as a human. And
so
I'm like,
she's a policewoman in Israel, in Tel Aviv, and here she's, that's not good enough. She's got to take on her superhero form. Sabra, superheroine of the state of Israel. So editors note the word Sabra denotes a native-born Israeli, the name derived from an indigenous form of a fruit, prickly pear, possessed of a sweet interior and a spiny outer surface to protect it from its enemies. Quilled cape streaming behind her, the female fury soars into the skies of Tel Aviv. She is determined to preserve her homeland from the ravages of the Hulk, which, is understandable. The Hulk can cause some damage.
Not good for the local environment for sure.
So the new trailer, when it came out for the movie, reignited controversy over comic book character Marvel Studios intends to introduce on screen in next year's Captain America: Brave New World. Oh wow, history is fun sometimes, even recent history. It'll feature Ruth Bat Seraph, also known by her alter ego Sabra. In the comics, she's an agent of Mossad. Did it say that anywhere? I don't know if it said that specifically, but I guess.
And then, well, the movie we got, she was a former Black Widow.
Right.
So I think this is telling, right? That like we can't have an Israeli superhero, but we can make that character an ex-spy assassin for the most evil.
And it maps over perfectly.
Right. In the movie, she was a heroic character.
She's a heroic character, right?
But
that's because all of the Black Widows were freed from their programming in the Black Widow movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So in 2022, when the role was publicized, pro-Palestinian activists urged a boycott of the film, one that they're still calling for, over its inclusion of a superhero synonymous with the Israeli government. For those who are pro-Israel, the recently revealed choice to seemingly alter her backstory as a Mossad agent felt like an attempt to erase her Israeli heritage. Though it's not clear that Marvel plans to do that. They kind of did.
They did. The spoiler alert. Yeah, that's what they did.
What does seem evident is that Marvel wants to have mass appeal. I mean, that's one way of framing not upsetting people that are lobbyists that have a lot of influence. That's probably the way to say it.
Yeah, I always find that remark interesting because mass appeal, based on all available polling data, would be the majority position is, hey, Israel kind of sucks right now, and we really need to stop them from doing what they're doing to the Palestinians.
Look, I think when this movie was in production, the polling was more favorable towards Israel, even through the first couple of years of the first year or so of the war.
Yeah. What I think happened, and this is just me running off of foggy memory, and maybe this article will back me up, I don't know, but my recollection is that Marvel changed significant elements of Brave New World right after October 7th, and that the original story more closely resembled something that would look like a conflict in the middle, like it was a conflict in the Middle East, I think, instead of between the US and Japan.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. So it just looks like they got scared and changed a lot of stuff around.
Yeah. Because it sounds like originally the movie was scheduled to be made in 2023. Filming was supposed to begin in 2023, but then it was delayed. And I'm trying to figure out where the delay actually happens. Because part of that, I think, was the writer's strike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was the writer's strike played some role for sure.
Filming began in March 2023. Because like the whole like toy line for McDonald's came out like a year early.
Oh wow, I remember that.
Yeah.
I recall that now too.
So by October, so according to Wikipedia, because Deadpool and Wolverine was further along in production, that took its spot.
Mm.
And Brave New World got moved to 2025, but
Well, so what's interesting to note is the difference in what I mean, because it's not like you might think that if they're introducing a pro-Israel superheroine who's like, I'm for Israel and going to protect Tel Aviv from the Hulk, that she might be depicted as, you know, just straight up hero with no, but that's not, it's not what it was, at least in this example. Let me,
no.
and of all people to fucking have just a solid ass take on the whole situation, you wouldn't expect it to be the Hulk, but so this little boy here dies, and you know, boy died because boy's people and yours both want to own land. Boy died because you wouldn't share. Boy died because of 2 old books that say his people and yours must fight and kill for land. Now boy is dead, but boy didn't even read books. Hulk came looking for peace, but there is no peace here. For an instant, Sabra prepares to, this is the most unrealistic part, prepares to give chase. She is, after all, an Israeli super agent, a soldier, a weapon of war, but she is also a woman, capable of feeling, capable of caring. It has taken the Hulk to make her see that this dead Arab boy as a human being. It has taken the monster. So, I mean, if this was actually realistic, then we wouldn't be also still having a genocide taking place.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they've seen it. They've seen the dead bodies.
Mm-hmm.
By they, I'm talking about goddamn Israelis.
The IDF.
The IDF.
Yeah. What's interesting to me about this the comic book version of the character versus the one we got in the movie is that they could have, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think that in principle they could have easily made her an Israeli version of Captain America, in the sense that she was designed to be the avatar of that country, the way Captain America was for the US, but became disillusioned by her own country.
Right.
And now like fights for the higher ideals of Israel or something like that. They could have given us that version of this character.
You say they could have easily done that, but think about what that would entail. That would basically mean that she's no longer a tertiary character, that she would essentially be one of the main characters, and that would be requiring them to take a pretty firm stance on, you know, the whole thing.
I don't know that it does.
I don't know that it would have to make her a main character. She could have had just as an equally sized role in the film, the hypothetical film we're talking about, that as the one she had in Brave New World.
So okay,
but they could have framed her that the same way they framed Steve Rogers in the MCU. They could have framed her as being that for Israel, and I think most people in the audience would have been fine with that.
I also think that so okay, let's say you, because her role in the story is at first like she's the one who arrests Isaiah. She is leading the investigation, and then she kind of switches sides when she realizes what's going on.
Yeah.
You could have, because a bunch of world leaders were attacked in all of this. Like, it wasn't just the president. A bunch of other dignitaries got shot. She could have been the Captain Israel figure who is just looped into this investigation because someone took a shot at, you know, the Israeli ambassador or whatever. And have her still fill the same role. And probably just that change, like, because the movie tries to make her out as this, like, tries to sell her rather as this like hard ass former Black Widow who's now the president's bodyguard, instead of just like, but she, you know, she doesn't really do anything that isn't just like like she's not particularly empowered or anything. We don't see her do a ton of cool Black Widow things.
Mm-hmm.
So to just have her be Israeli at least makes her a more grounded character that feels caught up in this bigger story.
Sure.
Yeah,
even
in some
independent
ways-
of her superpowers, if they were to give her superpowers.
Yeah, in some ways, the version of the character we got in the movie is worse than
Yeah.
making her an openly Israeli character who was created to defend Israel and became disillusioned.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously, to my mind anyway, or to my eye, what they did with her in the movie is more cowardly than doing what I suggested. Obviously,
Well,
I
what you
prefer my opinion
Look,
over there. Is
If
obviously
I'm putting it on this, if I'm going to
but-
put a silver lining on this, I'd
Sure.
say that okay, let's just be thankful that they didn't actually include her comic book nemesis, Arabian Night.
Oh God.
And apparently somebody did like a Disney-fied version. That's what that is on the right. I didn't realize that. But yeah, this is on the left. That's the guy.
Mm.
Abdul Kamir. Morgan's like, I'm done. I'm just leaving.
What fresh hell.
Legal status: citizen of Saudi Arabia with no criminal record. Why is that? What?
Oh, you don't. Oh my God. Okay, when was this character made?
First appearance, Incredible Hulk 250 or 67. I can't quite tell there.
Is
I
that
don't
the
know what
same
year that
issue she appears in?
No,
I don't
she was in
think so.
256.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
okay, so
he's the next ish. Okay.
Whew.
Has he ever shown up again?
He's been in a few examples from what I can tell. He's
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to a book by Edward Said called Orientalism.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, check out
can I tell you if you had to guess what one accessory that he has that's not depicted here, what would you think it? Oh, it actually is depicted there. Never mind.
The magic carpet, right?
It's his magic carpet.
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna guess the sun, whatever super soldier's suntan lotion he is using to not be a Saudi Arabian superhero who flies and not just immediately melt. Because like
Right.
you see like people in the Middle East how they dress, that's to cover them from the sun. Because they also get sunburned like us pale motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yes, because Arabs
Anyways.
are white.
But like, my God.
Oh my God.
And both
Oh.
of these characters from the comic book version here, Sabra and Arabian Night, both of them are racist stereotypes.
Oh,
Yes.
oh yeah.
They're both
Oh
just
yeah.
terrible.
Just real bad.
Wow.
I mean, you could have had like an Arab guy, like because they have like the Serpent Society is like a group of mercenaries that are in the movie. You could have had the one Arab member of the Serpent Society who has like on top of his tactical armor and his generic assault rifle has this falchion or whatever, and like okay, so that's like the movie nod to Arabian Night without being fucking this. The fuck is this? I hate it here, Dane. Why did I agree to this?
I seem to have found. I'm not going to kind of research this now, but I do seem to have found of some pages where Arabian Night and Sabra are seemingly allied temporarily, if not maybe even romantically somehow. Like I don't know what's going on here. I don't fucking like it, but I mean, I guess that's better.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The president of a genie as well.
I get my power from the magical gin,
Yeah, I need
It would
some
not
gin
surprise
right
me
now.
if that is the origin of his powers, honestly.
Yeah, I would.
But notice the framing in the 1980s in the comic book there, that they frame the Israeli-Palestinian conflict as fundamentally a conflict between Israelis and Arabs,
Right.
Yep.
which is like a much bigger group of people than
A
Palestinians.
Saudi Arabian character.
Yeah.
And they frame it as being a dispute over two holy books, which it is not.
It is not.
From a political economy perspective, it is not that. It is dueling imperialisms. At least during the Cold War, the Soviets were backing mostly backing Arab states, and the U.S. was establishing Israel as basically a landlocked aircraft carrier.
I mean, I was under the superficially almost correct, but still not any kind of useful way notion that it was about religion. It is at least to in the same way that to certain people on the internet, the real problems in the world have to do with culture war issues or whatever. It's like it's the thing that they're given to focus on to be keep themselves occupied and keep them at odds whenever.
Yeah. Well, adding religious fanaticism and identity politics certainly did not help. But there's no necessary conflict between Jews and Muslims. They've lived in peace for hundreds of years in the past before. They probably will do so again in the future. But the conflict as it exists right now, if you removed Judaism and Islam from the equation, we would still have all of the human rights problems we have now, or most of the same ones. They would look a little bit different and maybe act a little bit different in the world, but the underlying issues would still be the same, because you have a group of people illegally occupying land that the United Nations did not give them and kicking people out of their homes to expand their territory.
To be fair-ish here to Marvel, they have updated Arabian Night in recent years apparently, so he's at least covering
close.
Better?
This is technically better. It was a low bar. They got over it though.
Yep, they're just kind of sitting right on top of it.
Yeah, right. Weird way to pull Wolf, but okay.
Calling a character
Arabian
Night.
It basically seems like they upgraded from 19th century racism about Muslims to more post 9/11.
Yeah.
So he's got the fucking the jacket and the cargo pants and the boots.
He's dressed like a terrorist.
Yes, he's dressed like a fucking terrorist.
That's much better. That's so much better.
Villain from 24. Right.
Like I guess if I was gonna like steel man the appearance, like that's how any paramilitary dresses in the late 20th, early 21st century.
Yeah.
We just associate it with terrorists, but like I mean, any Blackwater tactical guy is gonna be dressed the same way. Sans the sword.
What is the practical purpose of having a big red, sash wrapped around you, other than just to like signal that, oh, you know what I'm about, where I'm from, right? Like,
I think that's what it's because the previous art had the red sash belt, so like you need something. Otherwise, he just looked like a generic technical guy.
Well, the red sash and the sword make him exotic. Otherwise, you wouldn't know he's not just a white guy.
Yeah, he's just some Greek mercenary.
I mean, I'm guessing here. I might be giving too much credit, but I'm guessing that they made actually the sword more accurate than what it was.
Yeah,
to some degree. I don't know swords, Bob. You wouldn't be more,
it looks like. I mean, it's still a comic book sword, so.
So there's what it was originally. There.
I mean, that type of blade, the falchion, is a real weapon.
It's a real, yeah.
But. And the other one they showed is a real weapon too. But
they're different.
The red sash and the sword are there to give him that exotic flair.
Yeah.
Right. Which is still doing an Orientalism.
It's still
God.
Yeah.
I think they whoever did this art literally modeled him after Naveed Andrews from Lost.
Oh.
He looks just like him,
Yeah, he's a handsome dude. I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah, from memory, I don't think he's actually I don't remember if he's actually accurate in his casting either. I don't remember. He's definitely British. I know that.
I agree. Like we should just start rocking red sashes though. It's a hot look. It's a hot look. I'm here for it.
So there's that, Okay, let's just do this. What on a scale of arbitrary scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate Captain America: Brave New World, Morgan?
On a scale of 1 to 5, like in terms of quality.
Just overall, however you want to do it, just qualified however you want to.
All right, so I am gonna give it 2 old man doesn't know how to send pictures out of 5. Because the plot hinges on the fact that Isaiah doesn't know how to send a picture, and things happen because of that. And the people he is there with think, oh, he's just being an old man. So two old man doesn't know how to use a cell phone out of 5. I think that's my rating.
Bob?
I would give it a 2.5. It is aggressively mid.
Oh yeah, it's aggressively mediocre.
From a purely craft standpoint, it's a fine movie. You can follow the plot very easily. The characters have clearly defined arcs. It's not hard to figure out what's going on.
Although I will push back on that because Pillar of Garbage, and I might not have ever noticed this if not for his video, but like he points out that Sam's arc ends and then there's the fight with Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So it basically means that fight happens for no reason and seems to be a kind of a relic from previous iteration of the film. Whenever maybe
probably.
I would agree with that for sure. But that's part of the film being aggressively mid, in my opinion. There's so much. There are so many opportunities it had to do something interesting, like Captain America. New World Order? I forget the name of that fucking movie. The Winter Soldier. Sorry,
Winter Soldier.
The Winter Soldier.
The good one.
The good one. Yeah.
Someone said
and it just drops the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you know, and I guess if you really think about it, Winter Soldier and Civil War are not really making any political statements either, right?
Yeah.
But they and I guess, well, here's a question: if we didn't know about the Saber thing, if that wasn't a factor, if we weren't aware of the behind the scenes of that or anything like that, would that have changed anything?
I think if I had not known that ahead of time, I think I might have about the same opinion of the movie, because it's just like there. It doesn't really move the needle on the story, the overall story very much. And the stakes don't feel real because the politics in the film are not real.
They don't even like they don't simulate reality very well.
Yeah. Here's why I give it. It really pisses me off because, like, you're right. It is on a craft level. I think maybe there's a couple of effect shots that look a little weird or whatever, but that's basically all of them. So overall, it is a well-made, just superficial level film, minus a couple little things here and there. But when you factor in the fact that or at least had an opportunity to do something more interesting with the character of Sabra, and then but even taking that out of it, it presents the character from Falcon and the Winter Soldier that was very much I guess you could say the heart of, or the theme of the entire season about the racial dynamics and stuff like that, talking about Isaiah Bradley. He's there, he's in the movie, and then he literally fucking they set up a black guy with a gun and he gets arrested, and it's like there's something you could have maybe done there, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just nothing gets done with it,
right?
And it's I think maybe Sam mentions it briefly or something like that, so maybe it has like a little dialogue nod to the fact that
Isaiah mentions it when Sam goes to visit him in prison.
Okay, yeah, mm-hmm. But so that makes it even worse because they don't follow up on it whatsoever
at all. No,
right. And that's my point. They have so many opportunities to they keep approaching real issues like mm-hmm. previous films have done, but like they do it with Sabra and they do it with Isaiah Bradley, and then they back away from addressing that issue.
Yeah.
Because apparently they're scared. I don't know what their real motive was, but it comes off as cowardly to me.
Right.
And, brave of them to put the word brave in the title of that movie.
Yeah. And also the Falcon and the Winter Soldier should have been Captain America 4. I understand there were production constraints because of COVID and all that stuff. Right. But that is the story that should have been Sam Wilson's movie.
Because Sam's they kind of, once again, they a little bit dealt with the fact that he's the new Captain America, he's got to establish himself, but like he really kind of already did that. I felt that was what that show was about. The racial dynamics it dealt with and everything, that was all fucking brilliant. I mean, I actually rate that show higher than a lot of other people seem to sometimes.
Yeah, I think other than like a cringy moment in the last episode, I think that show is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
and shows are allowed to have cringy moments. I'm sorry.
I mean, honestly, like Captain America has cringy moments. He does speeches. That's what he does speeches.
He's a cringy speech guy. That's how he's Captain America.
Right. It's like, okay, wow, he just told a completely fucking really kind of emotionally charged but ultimately pointless speech. That's Captain America.
That's how you know. He does two things: punch Hitler and cringy speeches.
And kiss Peggy Carter. That's 3 things he does.
That's in the comics he doesn't kiss Peggy Carter because she's been dead, and he kisses her niece.
Well, Black Widow then in the comics, but yeah, Sam Wilson deserved a better movie than Brave New World.
And that's my third. You just like a third strike out with this movie. Basically, is that the movie should have just the one thing it definitely had to do was to continue establishing like this is the new Captain America. Fucking, the same way that whenever you went and saw whenever everybody saw Winter Soldier, like the first Cap movie was exactly what it needed to be, more or less.
Yeah, it's exactly what it had to be.
But he was not cool yet.
No.
Within the first fucking 5 minutes of Winter Soldier, like, holy shit, he's fucking cool now. He's like
he's cool.
He's kicking dudes across the bows of ships and stuff like that. And it's like, oh my god.
There is an amount of oh no, he's hot in that movie.
Sure. So like, that's what this movie needed to do for Sam Wilson. It needed to be like, all right.
And what is like a strike 4 in a 3-strike game, is that Sam has those moments in other movies.
He's got a couple of them in this movie, but they just kind of, by the time you get there, it kind of rings a little hollow. He does some really cool stuff with the flying around the whole, head of the Celestial and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't. It kind of comes off as like obligatory action scenes rather than something that informs the character and what he's experiencing. I'm
going to give it a strike 5 here. Sam Wilson had no love interest in this film.
I'm fine with that.
Well,
I'm not. For the following reason. I used to be okay with it, but one of my favorite writers is a black sci-fi writer named Stephen Barnes, and he has what is called the Barnes test.
Okay.
Which is that prior to the movie Creed, adjusted for inflation,
sure,
no film in which a black male gets laid has ever crossed the equivalent of $100 million box office.
Unless it was Will Smith. Will Smith?
Not even with Will Smith.
Wow.
And he defines getting laid as there's at least one scene in which a black man kisses a woman in a romantic or sexual manner.
That so much that it indicates there could be a sex scene that happens. Even if it doesn't. Yeah.
And so prior to Creed, that had not happened. And it's relevant here because we don't get sex scenes or even love scenes in the MCU, but as far as I can recall, every protagonist of an MCU film, with maybe the exception of Captain Marvel, and this one's ambiguous, has had a clear love interest in the story. And Sam does not. And that would have been fine if they hadn't put so many obvious examples right in front of him, like the young lady who is like, she's either the bodyguard or the head of the Secret Service or something, the young black lady who works for the president. And clearly they know each other because they've been talking. Sure. They could have had like a single line of like, what, you don't like the way I fix eggs? Why are we not talking anymore? So I think that kind of diminished Sam's humanity because they don't. And I mean, look, Anthony Mackie's a good looking guy. If he was a superhero, he would have groupies, right?
Oh, for sure.
And then the Falcon and the Winter Soldier kind of did the same thing, although it was a much better story. Sam didn't have any women showing sexual interest in him, but Bucky did. Sam's sister was like, hey buddy,
you're right,
hello. True. And in isolation, it's like the Bechdel test, right? In isolation, every story's choices can be justified.
I want to push back. I'm not saying there's
pattern.
I'm not saying there's no racial element, because there is, but I will push back a little bit in the sense that I think that it's a broader thing with what the Marvel's been doing overall, as far as they're kind of phasing out, pun intended, phasing out romantic subplots as being necessary. If you look at Doctor Strange, if you just a quick, if you're like, oh yeah, it wasn't really a romantic plot. It was that they used to be together, and that she's basically a friend that's trying to be supportive, and then he kind of fucks that up, and then by the end, all that happens with that is that he realizes that he kind of screwed over his friend, and and then that's it. Yeah. In the second movie, she's getting married to somebody else.
Right. But there's it's still clearly established that they had a romantic relationship at one point. That Stephen Strange is a fully realized human being who had a sex
Sure.
life at one point.
For all intents and purposes, you're right. For all intents and purposes, Sam might be asexual. We don't know.
So is this more of a point of he doesn't have a romantic relationship, or we don't see him have a life outside of being Captain America?
It's both, I think.
In the show, we do see him have a life outside of
Yeah,
being
in the
Right.
show we do. But I just noticed it in the movie
Sure.
because I had been reading Stephen Barnes's thoughts on this subject, and having the young, apparently single black woman, or just any young single woman, period, in the film, who's right there in front of Anthony Mackie's character, who would in another movie have been who would have flirted with him or had some kind of interaction implying that they had a prior relationship, and they just didn't do it.
Sure.
It's like they're rubbing it in your face, right? If that character had not been there,
Sure.
I wouldn't have noticed. But
I mean, it's almost like they're saying. I mean, I was thinking about trying to think. Is there anything about his personal life in the movie? And the closest you get is his relationship with Isaiah, and that's still connected to Captain America. You know what I mean? But like, it's also a personal relationship, as was established in the show. He's a friend, and that's. But it's almost like saying that, yeah, that he doesn't have. He's not having romantic stuff. All he can do is stuff related to yeah, nothing romantic. It's weird. But there might have been something prior to whatever it got chopped up. Clearly the original plans are not what came out.
Right. I definitely I see what you're saying, Bob. I don't know, and maybe this is just me, like especially with Falcon Winter Soldier, how it handles Steve's romantic plot tumor pretty badly with Sharon Carter.
Yeah. But to be clear, I'm not saying
I understand
that a movie has to have a romantic subplot. It doesn't.
Well, speaking of her, by the way, the strike 6, because yeah, come on, it was right there. That would at least give some tension with the character that was previously, maybe a shitty thing to do with the character, but like we could say that it was informed by her loss of Steve. You know what I mean? Like she just didn't. She kind of felt
I even think
started
that
making some bad decisions, whatever.
To Bob's point, to like have him have Sam have a more realized life, to have her in the movie as a villain is like, well, this was a friend of his, right? Because when we see them together in scenes with Steve, her and Sam are friends. They have a rapport, they get along.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I
she should have been in the slot that was filled by Sabra.
Yeah.
That should have been Sharon Carter.
Or
maybe she wasn't available for the movie. I don't know. You never know what's going on with actors.
Literally never seen her in anything else.
maybe after the dump of a story they threw on her, she's just like, fuck it, I'm done. My contract's up. Bye-bye.
Yeah. That's entirely possible as well. But the movie would have been better if she had been in that character slot instead of some new character that pissed everybody off anyway.
I will
because she's not really Sabra, right? Like
the one
doesn't
thing
really do any Sabra things.
Just to kind of extend to the into the future of the whole thing. One of the things that could really, I understand that they're bringing back the main actors, the main Avengers. That almost certainly was going to happen regardless. And I know some people don't want to believe that. Some people want to think that they only doing that out of desperation. No, that's one of the reasons they're doing it now. But I believe that they would have found a way. In fact, it's reported that they were planning on bringing Tony Stark back as just the superior Iron Man version of the character, which is the one that's like a bit more of a dickhead, not quite a villain, but he's damn near close in the comics, right? Like he's done he's basically Tony Stark without empathy,
right?
But he still technically fights for the right reasons most of the time, but he does shitty stuff and he's a complete asshole. That would have been a fun way to bring RDJ back, is to not you don't have to undo anything. You could just have a multiverse variant where he's like the most Tony Stark that ever Tony Starked, right? That could have been fun. I think that was, I've heard report that was the plan originally. And then essentially whenever they decided to pivot away from Kang, they said, and presumably the idea was that he was going to kind of become a late inning surprise villain aside from Kang or in place of Kang. But whenever the Kang thing, they're like, okay, fuck all this Kang shit, fuck Jonathan Majors. Why don't we just kind of, it doesn't take much of even a rewrite to pivot to a degree and then have him be Doctor Doom or whatever.
I don't know why we just don't recast Kang. I legitimately, like, we were so.
I think that they realized that he wasn't, not to say nobody. I don't want to say that because I actually really loved his portrayal in the Loki show. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I just don't think that I think they recognized that he wasn't going to be weighty enough whenever, Thanos was established, and it's, I don't care what anybody says. It's always easy to shit on these things in hindsight. Thanos is up there with Darth Vader. I believe in iconic villain status.
Oh, for sure.
And so you kind of have to hit it out of the park again if you're going to really go for it. They kind of, half-assed it a bit with Ultron. I don't think they want to do that again. So they were like, we got to do something that's really going to be worth it. Anyway.
Yeah, I think what the real issue is, or one of the real issues, is that audiences are not satisfied with passing of the torch moments in movies that aren't like dramatic, like just having a dude sitting on a bench handing a shield to somebody saying, "This is yours now," without the guy handing the shield over dying or having just lost a fight or something. A lot of audience members don't find that satisfying, and so the transition through after Endgame just left a lot of people. I'm not saying I agree with this, but I think this psychologically what happened. A lot of people were just like felt that was boring, and that they wanted to see movies where every legacy character gets the torch passed to them by the previous character or something like that, or like they wanted to see a moment where Captain America or Iron Man appoints somebody the specific leader of the new Avengers.
I don't think that's. I mean, I just have to disagree, because for one thing, if you do that with every character, it's going to be boring and repetitive. That's not the way that it's happened in the comics. I mean, it's here and there. It has happened. There's been an approval or whatever, but like, the idea is that many of these characters kind of take it upon themselves to do this, influenced by the original, and it's independent of that character, and I think that has more power than just like literally doing a actual bequeathing of the title to mantle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta push back on this real quick. Sorry. No, because Germans are not just people who kill Jews. Southern people are not just people who hurt black people. Okay. She was, in the original incarnation, an agent of the IDF, essentially, of Mossad. She was an agent of the state of Israel. That is a very specific thing. If you want to tell me that there's a member of the KKK from the South, that would be like what you're talking about, or actually, Nazis, someone from the SS. But like,
so okay, here is my take on this. When we talk about going after or fighting these groups, Southern racists, Nazis, the state of Israel, all of those things, right? The Confederate army was made of conscripts. The Nazi army was mostly made of conscripts. The IDF is a conscript army.
Yeah.
I don't know what her personal politics are. She was a conscript indoctrinated into an army. My problem isn't with her. It's with the system that did that brought her into that system, and the people at the top of it who run it.
Yeah. Like Israeli citizens do not have a choice to.
Right.
It is not voluntary to join the IDF. It is required by law.
Dude, yeah, like
No,
let me finish. You have a lot. Sorry, go ahead, Bob. Go ahead.
That does not make it okay. But it is important to understand the context here. The vast majority of the people in the IDF are, as Morgan said, conscripts, which is another way of saying they are a slave army.
Right.
That's what conscription is.
Citizen of Israel, whenever you become 18, turn 18, you have to enlist. And considering the specificity with which you are making some pretty egregious accusations here, you should know more about the subject matter, that you wouldn't just assume that they, get your information up before you, because you're just speaking straight up with emotion and crazy fucking Maybe not. I haven't heard anything about training dogs to do that. That's pretty fucking wild.
No, they have. Yeah,
They
they have.
have,
That's been
yeah.
Fair enough.
documented.
Fair
Right.
enough.
The IDF is
but I
an
mean-
evil organization.
Right.
We got to be clear about that.
I don't doubt it. If you guys say that's what happened, then that happened. But I would just say that if you aren't aware that these aren't people that are just like, well, sign me up, I can't wait. Sure, there's probably some of them, probably a few, maybe, I don't know what percentage.
Well, it's a long process, right? The Israeli society today, all of the research shows, is radicalized.
Yeah, they're in the sauce.
To the far right. They are like, there's a guy in Israel right now who's basically a reality TV show celebrity because he was caught sexually assaulting Palestinian prisoners and was pardoned for that, or his trial was called off or something. But he's a celebrated celebrity. But they didn't get to that point overnight. It's been a generational process of radicalizing people. And when holding individual members of militaries accountable, we have to understand they are accountable for things that they did. If there are tribunals, they will be put on trial and accused of specific crimes, et cetera, et cetera. But to say that they voluntarily join this force when the alternative for most of them when they're 18 is having their entire lives ruined and being sent to prison is going a little bit too far and laying moral culpability on individual soldiers rather than on the system of apartheid that corrupts everything.
And also the implication of what you're saying is that there was no way including her could have been a okay thing when as Morgan was saying earlier, I think that you could absolutely have had a character who understands things in a different way now. She's left this the IDF and she's like trying to make up for the things. Okay, make up for the things she's done. There's absolutely ways that this could be done. That just like saying absolutely not, no inclusion whatsoever is just kind of it's knee jerk in my opinion. But also, so Bob, I thought this the other day, by the way. Bob had called me out before on mentioning how like I've made comparisons to ways that IDF and State of Israel do things and what they're currently doing and have been doing that can be in some ways compared to very uncomfortably the Nazis, considering the history. And what I thought about later on is that okay, that's actually very valid, but another instance that you could compare them to is Imperial Japan leading up to World War II. They were in the sauce, buddy. Like
crazy.
Maybe even more so than the Nazis. I don't know. In the specific way that they were like trained to see the world and stuff. I don't know. No point in trying to quantify that comparison, but still,
the Japanese the Japanese Empire in World War II was as bad as the Nazis in every way.
They were straight up deranged, and they had been socially programmed, brainwashed to be that deranged and violent, and now Japan's full of awesome people now. Because it has everything to do with the types of systems that they are raised in, the types of propaganda that they are force fed. And that's the stuff, as Bob was saying, that should absolutely get, not to say that the individuals, don't deserve some type of, based on the crimes they actually committed, some type of culpability, but first and foremost, it needs to be on the state and the methods of the state and the people that run that state.
So one of the things that, because I've looked into this quite a bit back after the October 7th attack. So if you choose to go to jail, because how it works is you can ask for a deferment unless you belong to specific religious sects. The answer is no. Then you're given the choice of serve or jail. You go to jail, right? You still have to serve. You didn't get out of it because you went to jail. It's fucked. It's absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
So I yes, the person who makes the decision to serve made a bad decision and will end up doing bad things. And they will have to live the rest of their life with that. But punishing one actress because of that is not going to solve that problem.
Well,
and making it about that actress does not solve the problem. You have to address the system.
If we're talking about justice here, we have to account for the fact that not every single member of an occupying army committed atrocities. They're part of a network of logistics and stuff that help make that happen. But when you're talking about individual culpability before like a human rights tribunal or stuff, being the office clerk
Right.
is not as bad of a crime as being the guy that shot the child in the back of the head.
Right.
And then dumped them
Right.
in a mass grave. Those are not equal crimes. They're both crimes.
They're both crimes.
But they're not equal crimes. And you
The
cannot
person
get
who-
justice by treating every single member of the occupying force as being equally bad. That is not how you get
The guy
justice.
who sits in the truck and drives the there's a bunch of soldiers in the back of the truck that they drive into the camps to raid the camps, but he just sits there and drives the truck, is not even the same as the guys who are jumping out and going in and doing the kidnapping and raping and stuff like that.
So Sabra wasn't, as far as Sabra was not included in the movie.
Right.
That character was
completely overhauled.
her civilian name was given to a former Black Widow agent who is the president's bodyguard, but badly.
Yeah, the character in the movie is not
Is
an
not
agent of
Sabra.
and was, as far as we can tell, never was an agent of the Israeli state. She's
Right.
just an Israeli citizen.
Right.
And
So,
I'm not even sure she was that.
I don't even
that's
think it's
actually stated in the
mentioned.
movie.
I don't think Israel is spoken in
I
the
don't
movie.
think that word is spoken in the movie. So like, if you didn't know that was supposed to be a version of Sabra from the comics, I don't even know that I would have known that character was supposed to be Israeli. Because like I'm not super familiar with the accent. Okay, that's a bodyguard with an accent. All right, moving on with life. Like I feel like the idea that Sabra was included in the movie to suck up to Hollywood strikes me as some dubious undertones. Because it feels like the opposite of that. If she was a Mossad agent in the movie, then yeah, you would have some ground to stand on. But she's not.
Yeah. And as far as the actress herself, I don't know what she did when she was in the IDF,
Yeah.
so I can't speak to that. Maybe she did horrible things. I don't know. It's possible. But again, justice requires consideration of individual circumstances and a scaling way of measuring culpability for crimes, just like we do with any other crime. Manslaughter is not the same crime as premeditated murder, which is not the same crime as just justified homicide, and so on. All three of those involve killing people, but they're not the same crime because the circumstances around them and the context around them matter. Just like we didn't lock up every single member of the Wehrmacht and throw them in prison at the end of World War II. We probably should have locked up more than we did, but we didn't throw them all in prison because they can't rebuild a functioning society by doing that. And the real responsibility lies with the system of apartheid and occupation and the people who run it and make the decisions. So the people who run the state are the primary targets of any campaign for justice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, see, Big Fieldy, that's the thing, all right? They are all war criminals. If you're in the IDF, under the definition of war crimes under international law, you are a war criminal, but not all war criminals
Are created equally.
bad. Yeah, they're not all equally bad. There's scales of what punishments and all that stuff are appropriate based on your level of involvement. Like I said, the file clerk who's in like Tel Aviv and has never set foot in like a concentration camp or Gaza or anything like that is not as culpable as the guys who train dogs to rape prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
Those are different crimes and they should be treated differently and they should be judged by us differently. So when we look at an actress like this one who played Ruth Ben Seret in Brave New World or Gal Gadot or anybody else, I don't know what any of them did in their service, but the mere fact that they served in the IDF when as 18-year-olds they don't really have any other choice except going to prison and then having to serve anyway is not dispositive for me. It's not a deal breaker for me.
Right. I guess I look at it this way, right?
You're right. We should just be banning these people for making fucking this kind of claims and not even listening to anything we're fucking saying. You're right,
fair.
Lucifer.
All right, good point. All right, so
do not take your political opinions from YouTubers, not even us.
Yeah, God, especially me. Yeah, fuck that. I'm not even a real YouTuber.
No. We're idiots. Do not listen to us.
I am the dumbest person I know, except for all the other dumb people I know.
By the way, Marvel strips Shira Haas's Israel character of all ties to Israel. So that we were correcting that she was not in any way the character connected.
So the text of the film never identifies her as an Israeli.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we already talked about this anyway when we talked about the guy that played Frenchie on The Boys, and how he's out there talking about shitty things that he did in service.
But he's talking about that, and that's he's not talking about it positively.
Right. He's not like, oh, it's so cool, man. He's like talking about it in a clearly the kind of way, honestly, that people that have done shitty things that they recognize are shitty will talk about them in and it's not to say that, you're right. We don't, I can't believe we get in the weeds for something like that. It's just, I feel like it is warranted to point out that,
I think it's worth discussing, but I also think the discussion is now done.
Right.
We move on.
Yeah.
So I actually have a question for the audience, which is part of the reason why we brought up Captain America 4. What are some movies y'all have seen where Israel is portrayed in the movie, as an institution, not just like an Israeli actor?
Well, indirectly, I would argue Superman, the most recent one, was an analog.
Are we only talking about literally, or are we talking about potential, kind of?
I think we should try to be literal. Okay, I'm gonna take care of this problem.
Yeah.
Bye. You're gonna
honestly,
go on.
Start to seem a little bit, more focused on than.
Yep. So moving on.
I haven't seen World War Z.
World War Z is a good one. I read the book. But it's a good example.
Yeah. So Israel's it plays a role in that.
Well, I mean, the book is very different from the movie. The book
is very different. I have not seen the movie. I have read the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the movie, Israel, it's really bad. It's a really bad symbolism. Israel is like a stronghold against the zombie hordes.
Sure.
And you see the zombie hordes trying to invade Israel from Palestine.
Of course.
That there's a lot of subtext there that is not nice.
Yeah.
It's barely subtext.
Yeah.
That's not great. I'm just so my hypothesis on this to pull the curtain back a little bit, because I am not the most cultured when it comes to movies and stuff or anything. We hear a lot about how Jews are portrayed by Hollywood, or how Jewish people influence Hollywood. But just thinking about it off the top of my head, nothing really stuck out as how we portray Israel in media.
And I can't help but feel like that's. So I'm sitting here looking at lists of movies, depicting Israel, and at least quick Google. Of course, Google sucks now. It seems to think that I'm talking about more documentary type things, and other than those types and a few, I suppose, generally fiction, but probably rooted in reality, or at least the Israeli narrative of reality. It seems like there's not many at all, almost like that's intentional.
There's been a few movies made about specific incidents in Israeli history.
Sure. Munich, yeah. I just mentioned Munich.
But when we're talking about modern Israel, right? There's
just
almost
in general. Israel's only 80 years old.
Yeah, modern Israel is a term that means since the founding of the current state of Israel in 1948.
Okay, then I'm talking about in the last 2-3 decades.
Sure.
Well, Munich was a good example. I think usually I'm not thinking of any other obvious examples other than World War Z and Munich, but the more common thing, it seems to me, would be having Israeli characters in TV shows
Sure.
like 24 or NCIS, where Israel is portrayed as like super soldiers, basically. They're
Yeah,
like,
it's the U.S. Super Soldier Program.
Sarcasm sting warranted. Yes, it does.
I would say TV counts. Like my brain went to movies first because I don't really watch TV, but TV is a perfectly good example.
yeah. Well, there was a character on the TV show NCIS for several seasons who was a Mossad agent,
Yeah.
who was working with the NCIS agents, and she had all of those storylines involved Mossad and Hamas and stuff like that. They did whole character arcs on that stuff. So on American Spy, in American spy media, movies and TV shows, Israel is depicted as like the super soldier program, or
Sure.
the best of the best at security and surveillance and all those cool things that, you know, we need to fight the war on terror, because America is a crippled baby without the ability to turn the world into the panopticon, right?
Right.
Israel is portrayed as being better than we are at all of those things.
You know, I think maybe Borat
Really?
talked about Israel a couple times, but it was, you know, it
fun.
layered in satire. But I think that if I
Borat.
watched it, it might be kind of from a proper perspective.
Yeah. Well, I would say, like, I would just come back to Superman.
Sure.
That country wasn't called Israel; it was Boravia. But that conflict, and it can stand in for any other. You know, it can be a symbolic of many.
Yeah, because I think it also stands in for like the
Russia and Ukraine
stuff. Yeah.
But I think the guy that was the president of Boravia apparently has a striking similarity in appearance to the first prime minister of Israel.
Oh, interesting.
And also because the moral clarity that Superman displays in that story is what we would hope to get from real world from real world leaders. Yeah, don't mess with that's a good one. Don't mess with the Zohan.
I mean, that's not a good movie, but it's a good example.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that one.
Like, it was an Adam Sandler movie. He was actually a former Mossad agent, right? Like he was a
shut up
Israeli special forces or something like that.
What is happening?
It's a comedy.
It's an Adam Sandler movie. He doesn't make drama.
He comes to America and becomes, I think, like a hairdresser or something like that. Yeah.
He does make dramas, actually. Sandler's been, that's a
really
sidebar conversation. He doesn't make them, but he's been in some dramatic roles and has gotten some.
Oh,
yeah, there was, but he's MAGA, so
yeah.
Oh, yep. I knew Schneider was.
There's a channel that I just recently found called Worse Every Day. It's kind of got this. I think they're a married couple. I don't. It seems like anyway, but they're entertaining kind of silly couple that they did a video recently on surprise people that surprising celebrities that are MAGA, and they kind of went one by one and revealed them. And some of them, of course, we know they are, but then Adam Sandler is he's one of the quiet ones that likes to kind of keep it on the down low. Let's see, Sandler and Turturro ended up teaming up later.
John Turturro's in it.
It's been so long. I don't even know if I ever finished that. I think I watched that movie with a date, and we didn't finish watching the movie.
Yeah,
if you know
I have never finished.
So the movie was on, but you weren't watching.
Right.
I've never ever finished. Not once have I ever finished an Adam Sandler movie. So I just stopped trying to watch them after a while.
I mean, Billy Madison, come on, man. Happy Gilmore? No.
Yeah.
I finished Happy Gilmore.
There were parts of it that were not Adam Sandler work, like the Christopher Walken stuff and the Steve Buscemi.
Happy Gilmore has one of the greatest comedy fucking lines ever. And I don't care what you say. That's I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
See, for me, it's when he fights Bob Barker and shoves the price
wrong, bitch.
Yeah. But it just didn't like I remember those scenes.
Yeah, but it's not like a great. It's a
My brain did not file those movies as comedy classics, right?
Oh God, is that right?
Yeah.
Zombieland. I mean,
Yes, in World War Z. Yes, that's true. Like it's bad. Like if you want to see some really, really racist,
in other words,
barely
you shut up
subtext
these
portrayal.
Palestinians, or they're gonna the hordes will.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's bad. It's incredibly racist. But for me, the contrast between Superman and Brave New World as movies and the way that they navigate this issue is night and day. And I think one of the things that I really appreciated about Superman was the moral clarity. Like they weren't afraid, although they made it one step removed from the real world by not making the conflict Israel versus Palestine.
Sure.
The moral clarity and the moral courage they were willing to show in that script is something we need to see more of.
Right.
Because everyone understood what they were saying and nobody really objected to it.
I'll say this about Brave New World. I fucking forgot it basically, but like the details of this, but I would say that it seems like maybe if you squint hard enough, you can see some type of almost not criticism, but like just like, hey, look how Captain America's fighting to keep this new resource out of the hands of other nations so that America is the one that, gets it basically.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that kind of what it is? Like it's adamantium in the thing, right?
Yeah, it's adamantium. Yeah.
So there's almost something there, but once again, so that's strike 8 now. I think. Just almost something they could have done something with, and they just didn't.
The whole inning is almost over. Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh, God, is it really? I haven't seen that because fuck that movie. So Amelia Perez is a movie about a Mexican drug lord who transitions, and it's real bad.
And then
the doctor is Israeli. Oh my God, get out.
And it seems like the thing is setting up, like if the movie was about a drug lord who decides, look, I'm finally going to transition or whatever, and then does that, and then the movie goes about proving that this was something that was like this is really who she is, and she's
right
a more whole person now and stuff like that. But no, it actually goes out of its way to show a couple of ways that first of all, she kind of preys on her ex-wife that doesn't know she is who she is, and also that just kind of implies, or even maybe even outright kind of indicates that she's doing this just to kind of hide out, and it's fucking crazy.
Mark, I will ban you from chat.
I think
that I like you.
I think it's the line in the song in the movie.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think that's actually a lyric.
That's his line. Yeah, that would be, because that's, oh my God, I hate it here. Okay, so well, and this is, I think this ties into one of those like things people say.
October 7th happened. I'm sorry, it was not.
It was written.
It was
before
written.
that, but it wasn't filmed before that, and because I remember the news stories at the time, people were
Jesus Christ.
That is some parasocialist behavior right there.
Yep.
We have found our first leader of the parasocialist vanguard right there. Yep. So Superman 2025 was not filmed before October 7th, but it was written before October 7th. And there's been some controversy about whether changes to the script were made as a result of October 7th. James Gunn says they weren't.
Right.
But originally the plan was to have the Boravia-Jaharnpur conflict be explicitly in the Middle East somewhere. And they had that the comedian actor Bassem Youssef had been cast in some role and was later told your role's been eliminated because of changes to the script.
That doesn't necessarily mean that that's why, but it could be.
Yeah. So it's, and he said he was playing a character who was his character was Arabic. So
sure.
He wasn't like
probably most likely like a representative or an advocate for the other country that I forget the name of.
Yeah. But it's telling to me that they still kept the moral message there that everybody clearly got. It wasn't lost on anyone, no matter how much James Gunn denies it.
And no matter how much Ben Shapiro acted like that wasn't the thing that he was angry about.
Right.
Yeah, I remember this vaguely. that show's kind of weird. Just an aside, that
Never
show,
watched it.
it very obviously does a lot of stuff just to be edgy and edgy humor, but then sometimes it's got some really fucking sharp satirical points that it makes. Yeah, we need to talk about real life.
Yeah, tell me about it. So I think that when it comes to the doctor in Emilia Perez being Israeli, I think that plays on, as many things do in that movie, some stereotypes about the queer community, which is that Israel is a super cool place for queer people, and it
no, not that there is any super cool place for queer people in the world.
Right, that's part of the problem.
Israel is definitely not that.
I mean, yeah, the same people, the motherfuckers that will be like, "Oh, you support Palestine whenever or you support blah blah Muslims whenever they blow." It's like, okay, but you champion Israel. It's not any better. Well, I mean, it is. I guess it's better in that they don't, I believe, execute people. Do they?
No, they don't. There's no same-sex marriage under Israeli law. They recognize same-sex marriages from outside who emigrate to the country. But if you're gay in Israel and you grew up there, you cannot get married under Israeli law.
But that reminds me that we go into all this in our discussion about Israel and Krakoa and the difference between those two states.
Yeah,
indeed we do.
There is a clear winner when it comes to ethno-states. Nobody's a winner. But
nobody's a winner. The clear winner is fucking nobody.
When it comes to a fictional ethno-state that literally probably just couldn't exist in real life, it is objectively better. In theory.
Even then.
I know. I'm intentionally confused.
It's only better because it's not real.
But no, and then like another thing worth bringing up is that the IDF blackmails, because they have spies in Palestine, they will blackmail queer Palestinians into serving as informants. Not like getting those people out despite their lives being in danger by the shitty ethnos or the shitty theocracy they live in, but being blackmailed by the ethno state that keeps them trapped there. So
So what are we saying here that we need to see more accurate portrayals and discussion of Israel in popular media?
We need to. We won't.
Yeah, we won't.
Right. I mean,
well, and I think
stuff like this would be good right here, like this.
What's a little genocide between friends?
Uh-oh. What's coming? I'm scared.
You didn't see it?
I didn't see anything, no.
Oh, weird.
What's a little genocide between friends?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
There's this one, too. It's fun.
Miners! Miners!
I think one day to bring,
I think I broke Morgan.
One day we'll have all been against this.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that too. We're swiftly approaching the time when everyone will have been against this, even though they weren't. But I think one day in the future, we will get the cinematic depictions of what's going on in Gaza and the West Bank that are as unflattering for the Israelis as depictions of the Holocaust are for the Nazis.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
That day is a long way off.
Hopefully not too long.
I do hope that James Gunn gets to stay where he is for a while and keep doing what he's doing, because he's obviously poking the bear on purpose and getting away with it, and it's glorious to watch.
Speaking of which, that we're going to have another discussion around stuff like this, maybe for an episode or maybe just around the topic. I'm not sure, but like Corto Maltese from the Suicide Squad. So we'll kind of do basically the same thing we're doing here, except more, instead of Israel, it'll be like, global South, imperialism overthrowing, socialist governments type thing.
And y'all are really going to love our upcoming episode on the Lord of the Rings and tech bros.
Oh yeah. This you think I died tonight? I'm going to die.
The scamming of the Shire.
The scamming of the Shire is coming, and you're gonna watch me die and rise like I'm the Christ.
Because you guys don't know this, but like you might know this, but Bob did the Lord's work, and he found how all these tech bros they like love Lord of the Rings and blah blah blah, and then they name stuff like Palantir, which is like a tool of Sauron, you know, and
Right.
like
And Peter Thiel launched a bank recently named Erebor, which is
right.
the lonely mountain where Smog sat atop his.
And it's like, are they
pile of
that
gold.
stupid that they don't understand that these are? But it's not even that simple. They're stupid, but in a very different stupid way than you realize.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into that. It'll be fun.
Yeah. No spoilers because we want to drop that at the proper
I'm
time.
not going to
But
spoil anything.
what Dane's referring to is that I found the actual reason that Peter Thiel and the other tech bros are so self-identified with Sauron and Saruman, and it's really, really pathetically hilarious.
They
And
are Mordor
sinister.
maxing.
And you actually, it does kind of give more insight, I believe, into how their fucking corrupted brains work.
Yeah.
Which, you know what I might include in that discussion is this video I watched recently that kind of it literally explains how being that rich actually there's an empathy trade-off.
Mhm.
So basically the richer you get, and that's like proven by science.
Yep.
So maybe we can learn about that too at the same time.
Yeah. I experienced a little bit of that myself personally, actually, when about 15 years ago, my dad passed away and I inherited like about $100,000 from him. And people in my life were like, why are you such an asshole now? Just because I was like all up in my feelings,
Yeah.
all up in how I'm like king shit a fuck mountain now. That
It was
I'm
probably a little
financially
bit coping
secure.
with the loss of dad that kind of
That
played it.
too, yes. But
It doesn't help.
I had several friends call me out on the change in my behavior around the fact that I was able to buy things now and was kind of like rubbing it in their faces. So
It's like,
if you scale that up to $1 billion, I can see how somebody becomes like just a complete amoral robot.
So what would it? So okay, I'm kind of glad because I'm already like an amoral asshole, but I've been disinherited from everyone in my family, so I'll never have to worry about having $100,000.
Same.
So I'll just be the same level of asshole the rest of my life. That's actually kind of good to hear.
So I mean, just as a quick thing, kind of what I was talking about, there is video of Elon Musk, and I think it was like 2004 or 5, and he's being interviewed in Australia, and so they're talking about like basically starvation that's happening in Australia to some degree, and how it really has to do with distribution and stuff like that, and he's saying that he's working on some way to fix that, or of course he probably never did really do that, but at the time. Nonetheless, whenever they bring up to him right there in the interview how many people die from starvation, he actually, and I believe he, this is before he was already rich, but he was not Elon Musk, right? Like Riz. He was, I think he was legitimately still idealistic, and I think he, on some level, in whatever disconnected way, did want to do things for society until he realized that wasn't as beneficial, and people weren't going to praise him like he wanted them to. But he actually fucking starts crying. You can see his fucking well up, and he's like, we'll have to get to work on it even faster then, or something like that. And it's like a legitimate, I believe, moment of him before his brain had fully changed the way that it changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
yeah, it'll be fun to explore some billionaires some more.
So what's funny is I actually have a picture of Australia from after Elon tried to start a robot factory there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Big Fieldy is out of Australia, so
Oh, yes, that's the worst. Yeah. So Big Fieldy can back me up on this.
No, I'm saying that this person, this video. When was the last time anything good came out of it? Big Fieldy. He's great.
Big Fieldy. Yeah, Big Fieldy's great. He's out of Australia, and he's going to back up. This is true here. So let me just make sure. All right, there we go. Share. So if you can see down here, Sydney was just destroyed. Just a big hole blown in Australia when Elon Musk tried to build a robot factory there.
Wow.
Just gone.
Jesus.
Isn't that right, Big Fieldy? There, Sydney's just gone now.
Sydney's no longer there, right?
Yeah.
Sad stuff.
Sad stuff.
So before we, I don't know how close we are to like ending, but I did want to remind us that we starred this
Start a comment. Yep.
Comment and promise to address it later.
Yeah. It is look for this on the showcast is what I would say. I mean, if you guys want to say something, feel free, but like I'm so over talking about chuds unless it's like in a conversation. Like I would feel like I would have to shift gears too hard right now to
sure. I have a non-chud related take on this. apparently this was over money, and I liked Stargate, back in the day, but it always looked kind of cheap.
Yeah.
Maybe it's okay to just do like affordably made productions of sci-fi shows.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What if they didn't have to be these big expensive mega hits?
Yeah. My take on it is that I choose to believe that I think his name is Malazzi, not Mazzoli. Joseph Malazzi and Michael Shanks probably did not know who these people were before they saw these tweets, and that they are just trying to drum up some fan support
To get some
to try and get like the show revived or something. But I think by now people have informed them of just who they're associating with here, and from what I can tell, they seem not to care.
Right, which leads to the one thing I would say about this is that notice that it's never the actors who could still have working careers who get involved with these guys. It's never the ones who are like, oh yeah, he's been making great stuff this whole time. He's a well-known. No, it's the guy who was in the Stargate show that's literally the most high-profile thing he ever did, and never did anything after that really that anybody knows of. Like it's always that guy or the guy, Dean Cain.
I was going to say this is the new Dean Cain or Kevin Sorbo.
Even Kevin Sorbo or even guys like James Woods, who did have a very successful career for quite a while, but then eventually didn't anymore. John Voight. It's always the same. I don't think that's a coincidence that there's same thing with Comicsgate, where it's like you're never going to see, Jim Lee quit fucking DC Comics and go to work for Comicsgate. You're never going to see, people who have a lot of talent and basically can get a job anywhere they want, or more or less. You're never going to see those people just going, you know what? I believe in Comicsgate and what they're about. No, it's because it's not actually about that. As we talked about on the showcast last week, and it's all of it's a scam. It's a big scam with a bunch of little scams inside of it. It's like the mama spider with a bunch of little spiders on its back. That's what conservative movement is a giant scam carrying a bunch of other scams, and if you poke it, all the scams are going to fly off.
And you're going to get scams.
My personal disappointment here is not so much about Stargate, but which I was never really a big fan of, but Joseph Malazzi a few years ago optioned the TV rights from one of my favorite fantasy novel book series of all time, and now I kind of have to hope that never gets picked up because he has tainted it with the stink of the chuds.
I see. It's not wealth and greed. It may be greed, but it's more like envy and resentments, bitterness of not being. They got a taste of success to some degree in Hollywood, and then they weren't able to keep it. And the same thing with comic skaters. And it's like I'm owed this. Why do you not? This industry doesn't recognize that I'm great and I deserve to be successful, and I'm going to take it out on the wokies and stuff. Yeah. And it's
a little bit of that, I think, and also these people were probably always this way in some, like in terms of their political beliefs in some way. Like I'm sure if you let's take James Woods as an example. I'm sure that if you went back through the history of like every interview he ever gave, you would find evidence that he's always been kind of a right-wing dickhead.
I might be mistaken, but I think I remember something about him and, if not underage, very young girls whenever he was far too old for that.
Oh yeah, there's a famous story of, I do not remember the actress's name. She's either an actress or a journalist, but she was out at a club. She claimed she was out at a club one night with her friends when she was like 16.
Oh, this is the actress, right? What's her name? I know who you're talking about. She's an actress.
I don't remember who it is, but her story is that she was out with her friends when she was not at a club. She was just out doing stuff. And James Woods tried to pick her up.
Yeah.
And she told him, I'm only 16. And he said, that's even better.
Yeah.
So
I want to push back against the idea that we need to start, that sci-fi doesn't always have to have like amazing special effects, because going back to the He-Man, which we didn't get a chance to really talk about it. We did a little bit, I guess. But like, have you guys seen this Master of the Universe trailer?
I've seen the movie.
No. Master of the Universe.
Master of the Universe?
Terra, the blue planet. Vital to fortify absolute power over your galactic dominion.
Annihilate this world. I will consume all that it has to offer.
Oh god, Cylon is back.
My point of showing this is that like some of the effects actually look pretty okay. So it seems to have gotten to the point where the Asylum can actually afford to do mostly passable sci-fi effects. Like there's a
Sure,
and you know, of course, everything else looks like absolute dog shit still. But
I'm going to assume that a lot of this is AI generated.
yeah, a lot
Maybe.
of it looks like it.
remains a threat.
Find this Prince Eli.
look,
Creatora. He intends
like
to
you
use
know,
They have the isekai starter.
serviceable.
fuel his power.
Yeah, that's passable.
If that should happen,
That's
If
not.
this was a good story, none of the special effects here would be deal breakers for me.
Right.
you will need allies. Convince them to fight by your side.
And that's He-Man apparently, the guy in the purple robe.
That's the master of the universe.
Yeah, look at these awesome fight scenes.
Yeah. See, that's a deal breaker for me. Okay.
That, yeah, I was gonna say now Bob is upset.
Bad
His
fight
spaghetti.
choreography is a deal breaker
Which is
for
our
me.
planet's core.
I'm just saying, you know, maybe if it's AI, then fuck that, you know. But if it's not, then there it is possible. It seems like now to effects have gotten where you can generate some passable ones without a
Yeah.
huge budget.
And like I said, if this was like the story there, I don't know if the story there is good or not, but if the story was good,
I doubt it.
the special effects there would not be a deal breaker for me. I mean, I grew up watching fucking Star Trek and Planet of the Apes and
Right.
Yeah,
Babylon 5. So bad special effects are not a big deal to me.
right. We're only the first like two Planet of the Apes movies contain apes masks that you can't see the human's nose and stuff underneath the
Yeah.
prosthetics.
Yeah. The later ones, like
They're
It's
real
really
bad.
bad.
like this is like people forget. I guess like younger generations never knew that sequels used to get less money in their budget
Uh-huh.
than the original, and the more
Even though
sequels
they
you got,
were
the less
very-
money
they
you
were-
got.
They were pretty successful, the sequels. That's the crazy thing. When I was learning about it a while back, is like it's not like the sequels did poorly. They did pretty well, and then they would greenlight it, but still they would undermine, you know, undercut
Yeah.
the budget. It's
Well, that's
like,
because that's why the budgets were so low, is because they were hoping for a bigger return on their investment. But
Yeah.
like with the Planet of the Apes movies, like you said, only the first two, I think, of the original movies from the 60s and 70s have makeup on every ape actor that completely blends with their face. Like as the movies go on, if it's not a speaking role ape character, they're just people with ape masks that don't even move when their neck moves.
and then in
Right.
some cases, I
You know?
remember seeing a couple of clips where like the main ape character of a movie is like yelling something, and you can just see his mouth inside of the mask. You know what I mean? It's pretty bad.
Mhm.
Nonetheless, yeah,
But
you kids
that
today
was
don't know how good you have it.
That was groundbreaking makeup effects at the time, though. That's the thing. Those were
Actually-
cutting edge makeup effects for their day. Just like the special effects you see in like 90s TV shows were cutting edge at the time.
Rather than say that you kids don't know how good you have it today, I'm actually going to amend that and say that basically the opposite. That I wish that there was more stuff being made that even if it had, you know, sloppier effects and not, you know, not completely, you know, realistic looking stuff, that there was still the love that went into the story and
Yeah,
and
that's what does it. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they
a
don't
good
even,
story
you know,
and
it's hard to
good
find
performances. A good story and good performances can redeem any amount of bad special effects, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or if nothing else, then we just need, you know, I wish there was more people doing basically what Blomkamp did with District 9, you know, where they have such talent and they get a little lucky break with Peter Jackson, but nonetheless that movie was made for like, I think, I don't know, $11 million or some shit, some ridiculous, and it looks fucking phenomenal for the most part.
Yeah, District 9 looks really good. It's
I
a
remember
shame that
thinking that
everything
I was
says is
excited
in
that was going to be the future of sci-fi back in 2009. I was like, oh my god, yes, we're finally
and
getting.
then Elysium came out. They were like, well, alas.
We don't have time to talk about speaking of Neil Blomkamp and what he didn't end up doing, but I was pitched a legacy requel for Aliens the other day in the Discord.
Yeah, you remember that mentioning that, yeah.
But we don't have time. What we do have time for is to think about the Looney Tunes characters in a different way. Check this out.
Looney Tunes for my kids recently. That show has not aged well. All right, honey, let's meet this cast of characters. First off, we have a pig. His name's Porky. And his thing is he has a speech impediment. She goes, what? I go, yeah, he has a hard time communicating with his peers, and therefore he has really low self-esteem. Okay, you don't like that? Well, check it out. There's this mouse, and he's Mexican. She goes, I don't get it. How's that funny? I go, how's that not funny? You heard what I said, right? Mexican mouse? Okay, you don't like that? Well, check it out. There's this skunk. She goes, what's he doing? I go, he holds women against their will. Yeah, they try and get away, but Pepe won't let them. And all the other characters, what they're doing is they're trying to kill one another. You know how in your shows they're all friends? They're not in these ones. They're trying to murder one another. There's this coyote who wants to kill this bird. There's this cat who wants to kill this other bird. Both that cat and that bird also have speech impediments, by the way. If you don't like any of that, here comes the headliner, the main character. You ready to see? There's this bunny, and there's this hunter, who, you guessed it, also has a speech impediment. There's like 8 disabilities. They're all hilarious. And this hunter wants to kill the bunny, except for when the bunny puts on women's clothes.
And that's why we stand.
Yep.
And now he does not want to kill the bunny. No, he is sexually attracted to the bunny. No, sweetheart, you want to turn on Bluey and learn about empathy? Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Especially because my son and Jen have been showing me episodes of Bluey, and it is a very cute show, and actually a lot of really what's missing out of all the older stuff that we grew up on, which is just like teaching kids and adults that play is super important.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then they got into watching. They both watched the this 2-part, 3-hour long total video by, I forget the creator's name, the YouTuber, but they basically talked about the Daily Wire version of Bluey, the Chimchilla show.
Yeah.
And how awful it is in comparison. And
was that Lindsay Ellis that did that?
I mean, she might have done one, but this is not Lindsay
This is a
Ellis.
different one. Okay.
A different person, yeah.
Oh, you mean who did the video essay? I was going to say, no,
Yes.
there's no way Lindsay Ellis would do anything for the Daily Wire. What are you talking about?
Well, unless
know, there
Daily
was
Wire
that time that
gets
she
so broke
said that
she
all
buys
Asian-
it with her like streaming money from that streaming service she owns.
Yeah.
She just buys Daily Wire. That'd be
I don't know if
fun.
she owns that, does she? Or is she just like one of the main creators in it?
I don't know how that thing works.
I've thought about, Jen has talked about maybe we might look into that someday if we ever have the chance, but I was like, I don't know if I would. I don't know.
It's pitched as a creator-owned platform, so it's kind of implied that it's a co-op of some sort.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big video former YouTube video essayists are now over there doing their thing.
And most of them have some exclusive videos they put over there, but I mean, I love Todd in the Shadows. He just covered the terrible album collaboration between Metallica and Lou Reed, Lulu. It was pretty great. Great video, terrible album. But yeah. Lola Sebastian? Is that who it was?
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
No idea.
Anyways, here's another video just real quick. I guess we can play this on the way out. Let me see. Yeah, we'll do this on the way out just to promote one of the sponsors here at Polymarxist Studios. What do we talk about now? What do we got?
Well, I would like to say I went to see the Masters of the Universe movie over the weekend, and I was really surprised at how good that movie is. So I recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's as good as the first Thor movie, in my opinion. And it was a hell of a good time at the movies. Is all I'll say.
Cool.
And sit through the credits. There are multiple mid credits and post credit scenes.
And you have to sit through them all.
What's that?
You got to sit through them all.
You don't have to, but if you're I'm not a terribly big fan of He-Man. I just went out of curiosity, so my expectations were low. So perhaps other people will have different experiences
opinions
of it. But it sets up a lot in the post credits and mid credit scenes, which I know all movies try to do now, I guess. But they actually look like they're trying to set up stuff, including a certain female character who wields the power of Grayskull.
Oh shit.
So while Dane is pulling up trailers from his new
from his Gooner file,
his new Gooner game,
yeah.
To answer your question, Fieldy, where do I sign up for socialism? Parasocialism. More details will come soon.
Yeah, it's in the works. We're trying to get some stuff behind the scenes in the can so we can start putting stuff out and be several weeks ahead rather than trying to play catch up.
Yep. Once we get started, we're going to be getting started. There'll be plenty to check out once we're officially launched. It's all on me that it's taken so long just to be fully accountable. It's been my hold up and life things going on, but
yeah, shit happens.
Well, we could have started eking, kind of trickling some stuff out before now, but we really wanted to stick to making a real announcement and a splash with here's some goddamn content. Here's a couple of examples of what we're doing, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is the first time I've seen this game footage. This looks great.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. He gets very bloody, and then I don't know if you saw that hair on his arms, but that's pretty incredible.
There's some great hair physics. It's a shame I'm not going to be able to afford this because I don't have a PS6 and I have a Warhammer addiction to feed. So
I am going to be nickel and dime saving wherever I can until September 16th so I can get this sumbitch. Look at that. Oh god. Anyway, speaking to the Master of the Universe thing, I was looking at apparently there's been it's one of the most valid reasons to not see that movie. Really, the objectively, valid reason to go fuck that is because of the inclusion of one Jared Leto as the voice of Skeletor. Apparently, he did not actually was not there portraying Skeletor. I don't think physically.
I forgot that Jared Leto was in the movie.
So did everyone else. And here's the thing. Apparently, this is a Comic Book Cast has a new video up, I think from today or yesterday, talking about how if you go look at any of the cast stuff, the promotional material where they're like, first of all, Jared Leto's not included at all.
Right.
But if them talking about oh, I loved working with Idris Elba, I loved working with whatever, with Alison Brie, I love working with whatever the He-Man guy's name is. Nobody says the name Jared Leto. They actually refer to Skeletor, working with Skeletor, blah blah. And apparently, Jared Leto is pretty pissed about it, which it seems like they realized that they needed to kind of pull back on that. Hopefully, the best thing they could do is I'm not sure how it ends. I'm sure that Skeletor, I don't know if he dies or not, but nonetheless, if he comes back in the sequel, just get Mark Hamill. He did it fucking brilliantly in the Netflix animated series. Just do that.
I was going to say there's nothing. I was only reminded that Jared Leto was in the movie when the credits rolled, and it said he was playing Skeletor, because there's nothing about Skeletor, character design wise or performance wise, that reveals it's Jared Leto at all. The face is obviously all CGI and mocap, and the suit is almost all prosthetics.
Yeah.
So, I had no idea it was Jared Leto until the end. And I think that was intentional, and it was a good choice that they did that. Because that guy's
guys. I'm sorry, I got a bub chub.
Dane, not again, not on. Now, producer, reset the clock.
0 days since an incident.
It's on the whiteboard, Dane.
I know.
We have a whiteboard for this. It's the only thing on the whiteboard.
Well, speaking of game footage, I'm a little amused by the controversy over the new God of War game.
Oh yeah.
with a bunch of idiots on the internet trying to convince me that Deborah Ann Wall isn't one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
Well,
I mean, honestly haven't seen them saying that about. I mean, I'm not doubting you. What I've seen is just the general fact that it is a female protagonist that you're playing as.
You haven't seen the uglification stuff?
No, I've just seen. All I've seen is literally Eric DeBunk's thumbnail where apparently Az calls her the god of laundry.
Yeah,
which is just the dumbest. Like, it's so fucking low effort, dude. Like, even if I was a chud, I would feel insulted by that. I think, you know.
but that guy, Az, I watched that video by Eric. He in his own video, Az, does the uglification thing while running footage from the game trailer of Deborah Ann Wall doing God of War stuff, because she's like the model for that character.
Yeah.
And I doubt she did the mocap stuff. That's usually another actor, but she's doing the voice and the face is modeled on her. And the guy is running footage of Deborah Ann Wall's face being like dirty or bloody or something, because, you know, she's a warrior in the game.
Yeah.
And trying to tell me, the audience, that this woman is ugly.
Yeah.
I'm like, but dude, you just don't like women. But just
that's the problem.
Own it.
Look at this. Look at the battle damage here.
It's healing it up. Yeah.
And you got it's actually you have to actively heal it. That's pretty cool. Sorry, I know I'm distracting from everything else we're talking about here.
Yeah, I guess my thought was like, because she's supposed to play Loki's mom, so that would be a frost giant. So like, what's the problem that she's not like a conventionally attractive AI Asian woman?
And her name is
frost giant.
Her name is Laufey, so you know and I don't know. I mean, I know that like when it comes to these Norse myths and stuff, there's like several different iterations where the relationships and the what character is what kind of is completely different depending on the iteration.
Right.
A part of the thing with a myth, right?
Right, depending on the poem.
Yeah. I think in God of War, I don't know God of War video game lore that much, but I was under the impression that the character Laufey in that game is not a goddess.
I think
I could be wrong, but
she is supposed to. Yeah, she's
supposed to be the mother of Loki.
Well, she is the mother of Loki. The father is Kratos, the titular god of war.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had not heard anything about this being the way that what the game was going to be until suddenly it was, here's the thing, and then there's a predictable backlash.
Yeah.
Completely fucking fabricated, just bullshit backlash.
Well, see, the fact that it came out of nowhere is awesome. That's how you do marketing right there.
Yeah.
Like that took everybody by surprise. Everybody was talking about it, and she looks great in the role. And it, you know, and then you got all these weirdos who probably watch Andrew Tate telling them that if you like women, you're gay.
Right.
If men are more attractive than women. And like, you know what?
Right. I mean, it can't be based on the myths because it literally incorporates myths of other pantheons like the Greeks and stuff like
There's
that.
a lot of syncretism going on.
Yeah, a lot of people's understanding of Norse myth comes from Marvel, and Marvel gets everything wrong.
What color is Thor's hair?
Yeah, Thor is not blonde.
Thor is not blonde.
He's also not a muscle man.
He's not a muscle man.
Loki is not his brother. Yeah.
There's a lot to love on that redheaded Thor.
Yeah.
I think actually in God of War, Thor is a big redheaded guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was lore accurate Thor right there.
That is right. That is biblically accurate Thor.
But that's my only engagement with that game is just like, it's one of those games where like I don't play video games.
Yeah.
The reasons for that are complicated. But I do watch a lot of playthroughs, or I let them run in the background when I'm at work. And like, so there's certain game franchises that I really fall in love with, like Assassin's Creed is one of them. And I'm been meaning to get around to God of War, where I'll watch like cutscene compilations and have playthroughs running through in the background while I'm doing other things.
I hate to spoil this for you, Grando, but they didn't talk at all because they're not real. So
Norse gods do not talk like Shakespearean characters. Well,
that depends on your translation of Beowulf.
Yeah, it depends on which translation of the Poetic Edda you're reading, but yeah.
Yeah.
Marvel's just following the long established trope in Hollywood filmmaking of like, if there's, you know, anything, any kind of, historical thing, whether it's historically accurate or not or whatever, it's just everybody has a general, just this kind of mishmash British accent.
I blame Shakespeare's Julius Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm good. I gotta go eat some food. I'm pretty hungry.
You get all right.
I did want to showcase this video before, I guess, on the way out.
All right.
It's by a channel called what's its name? Armchair Black Belt.
To look at footage like this and say that Rothrock didn't make a credible screen fighter is to simply be detached from reality. And that's really what all this girl boss hatred comes down to. The Hollywood action scene of the 80s and 90s was unable to see Rothrock as a credible on-screen fighter, not through any fault in her talent, but because of their own short-sighted, preconceived notions of what women are actually capable of. And it's the same reason Drinker and his barflies struggle with so-called girl bosses.
If you ever listen to, and I'm sure you mentioned this in the video at some point or something similar, but like if you ever listen to, like legitimate Hollywood martial artists, even, the current ones or more recent ones, they will mention her alongside, as far as the greats, is like Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris and John Claude Van Damme and whatever. Like, yeah,
Cynthia Rothrock, before she became a film star in Hong Kong in her early 20s, was already considered the best in the world at 5 different martial arts. Not the best woman, the best in the world.
Wait,
and she would regularly go to open tournament martial arts tournaments where there were no women's divisions and compete against men and walk away with first place trophies every time, almost every time.
Yeah.
And the screen, what the words you see on the screen there are true. If you talk to the designers of that character, she was the inspiration for Sonya Blade. And part of what is tragic about her story is that the original Mortal Kombat movie was in development in the early 90s at exactly the time when she was trying to transition from Hong Kong to Hollywood, and she could not even get invitations to even have conversations about auditioning for the role of a character that was based on her. Because Hollywood was looking for skinnier actresses. And no shade on the actress Bridget Wilson, who played Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat. The fight choreo in that movie is amazing. But
Veronica from Billy Madison.
Yeah. The woman that the actual character was based on was told, I think it's mentioned in this clip, but she was told to her face by a Hollywood producer who watched her footage from Hong Kong that she wasn't good looking enough and did not make a credible screen fighter. And meanwhile, less talented martial artists like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal is not even really a martial artist.
Yeah, he is. He's got a black belt in Aikido, but they were less talented than her, and they were being given 7-figure contracts, and she couldn't even get like her foot in the door.
Yeah,
it's kind of outrageous.
It's and like she's not like she's hot. I'm sorry, this woman is hot.
Yeah,
yeah.
And get out of here with it. She's not. Oh God, it makes me so mad.
And she's badass,
She's so badass.
We're gonna put this up here and the old banner on screen for here we go.
Yep.
They simply can't conceive of a real woman who is capable of the things Cynthia Rothrock and Michelle Yeoh in their primes were capable of doing. And that's not because women are actually incapable of doing those things. It's because the barfly's notions about gender and sex bear no resemblance to reality.
Damn.
Now, they like to tell themselves and their audiences that they are simply defending traditional storytelling from dangerous modern political agendas. And baked into this argument is an assumption, sometimes explicitly stated, that traditional storytelling and traditional gender roles are grounded in biological or metaphysical reality. That the girl boss is unbelievable as a character, not just because men are endowed with cartoonishly insurmountable advantages like greater average upper body strength or greater average bone density, but also because women are inherently less aggressive than men. And in this worldview, girl boss storytelling has to be framed as a modern transgression, because admitting that it's older than 21st century bitter American activists would be to call their entire worldview into question.
You know, and the assumption that aggressiveness is really the key thing. Like I think Bruce Lee would take issue with that.
Yeah.
You know, he was not an aggressive fighter, and for the most part, he in fact preached against being, you know, aggressive and angry when you're fighting, and you know, it's
yeah. Well, even that, like I used imprecise wording there. What I meant to say was cartoonishly exaggerated advantages, like guys who talk shit about female action stars will always cite the fact that men on average have greater upper body strength or greater bone density or whatever, and it's not that big of an advantage. They talk about it like it's a decisive advantage, and it's absolutely impossible for a smaller person to win a fight against a bigger person. But there are entire martial arts designed around a smaller person beating a bigger person.
They're just grifters. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know that they really believe that shit. They were complaining, quote unquote, complaining about speaking of Deborah Ann Woll in Born Again season 2, where she fucking elbowed a guy real hard in the nose and then fucking flipped him over or whatever, as if a woman can't do that, as if, especially because she's not a small woman. You know what I mean? She's pretty tall. Like if you elbow a person in the fucking nose real hard, you're gonna fuck them up for a minute. They're gonna be kind of
yes.
You're probably breaking the nose. You're probably, maybe even worse, you know, busting some teeth out, something like that, depending on how hard you do it. It's
it from someone who has been hit in the face by a woman's elbow multiple times in self-defense training. It will fuck you up.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't ever knocked out, but I came close. And these women, I'm a big dude. I'm like over 6 feet tall. And at the time I weighed like around 210. And a woman like literally half my size almost knocked me out because the technique, because she understood body mechanics and she understood how to leverage her own advantages, like a lower center of gravity and greater maneuverability. So yeah, the differences between men and women that they like to talk about, if you adjust for size, they basically disappear. Pound for pound, the female of any species is as vicious of a fighter as the male.
Yeah, and isn't, like, I mean, I'm sure it's not every martial art, but like I think many of them, part of the whole thing is that you want to strike in a way that you can debilitate your enemy as fast as possible.
Yes, and then run the fuck away.
And then get away. Yeah, that's step 2.
Your goal in a real fight is to stay on your feet and get the fuck away. That's what you need to do.
A dude can fight off like 50 dudes, you know, back to back for like a 10-minute straight fight sequence, right? But one woman can fight off 2 guys, like.
Yeah, I actually got a comment on, I think on this video, of somebody saying, yeah, well, a woman fighting off a whole room full of men is unrealistic. And I was like, bro, a man fighting off a room full of people is also unrealistic.
Unrealistic. That's not how that works.
That is not how that works. The more people attack you, the greater your chances of dying immediately.
And then, you know, I could come up with like a metric, like a chart for how to measure how absurd these things are, because this is if we're just talking about just like regular people in a movie. If we're talking about some kind of fantasy element added to it, then it becomes even, you know, like Black Widow or whatever.
A knife.
Yeah.
What a knife brings to a fist fight is a huge force multiplier.
Yeah. There's a great video that went viral a couple years ago of 2 Marines saying, okay, we're going to show you 100% accurate, always effective in every single situation knife fighting defense. And then they square up and they say go. And one guy pulls a knife and the other guy runs away.
Yeah. There is I have a friend who does historical martial arts, and he was showing me some stuff about what would happen if you tried to wrestle someone with a knife. And so the guy wielding the knife in the fight has a knife that collapses into the hilt. And it is just him stabbing this guy in the back.
Right.
And it's a lot, and it's fast.
Yeah, we when I was training, we would do it with a magic marker.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and you were
like
all
a Sharpie,
colors.
You have to wear a white shirt. And and they put up. So the guys who were in this program I was in, who were being the padded instructors, of which I was one, most of them were like BJJ practitioners.
Sure.
And the guys who showed up as new recruits thought they were king shit of fuck mountain, right? And they would try to use their BJJ on they would reverse roles. Part of the training was switching roles. So
yeah,
the predator actor becomes the prey, or the victim, and the victim becomes the attacker. So they would give a woman the magic marker, and the dude would have to wear a white shirt, and they would try to use their BJJ on her. And then when they called the whistle and he stood up, there's black marks on all of his vital organs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if you decide you're going to roll around on the ground with a person who has a knife, you've essentially signed your death warrant.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to throw a wrinkle into this and ask you guys, what do you think would happen if it was a wizard?
With a knife?
Well, let's just check this out.
I would say roll initiative.
Yeah, I would say roll. Yeah, I would say roll initiative.
Got to promote this channel again because they're fucking hilarious, and I've been getting a lot of enjoyment out of them. But
it's Saturday, June 14th at 4:23 a.m. The eldritch entity known as Pentalagon emerged from his spectral sarcophagus and rained chaos upon the entire northern continent, including the territories of Skiend. Eyewitnesses claim that the stars were blotted out in an unholy darkness as blood rained from the skies and fire erupted from the deep.
Actual case photo.
The resulting epic of pandemonium and terror was thereafter known as the Great Thaumacism.
One.
Come in. Sorry about the wait. It's literally hell on earth out there. Can I get you anything? You all right? Maybe water, or maybe a flagon of ale?
Could I have a mana potion?
No.
This is Lieutenant Braunwick Kettlecap, lead investigator of the Thistlewood Town Guard.
y'all seen like the JCS psychology videos, right? Like that kind of thing with the. Yeah.
No, I haven't. What is this?
It's a very popular genre on YouTube, JCS style. The original channel that got popular for was JCS Psychology, but there's a bunch of knockoffs where they just kind of like they take publicly available interrogations of murder suspects and stuff like that, and kind of like analyze their body language and the things they're saying and stuff like that.
No, I've seen that.
Volunteer man-at-arms in the.
What is this?
This is Wizards with Guns. Okay. If you remember, I showed a couple times that sketch of Jordan Peterson talking about wizard shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Battle of Timid Kings, and has an impressive record of over 14 convictions and 25 beheadings. During our examination of this footage, we will be analyzing the interrogation tactics used by the guardsmen, as well as the overall behavior and psychology of the suspect in question.
You've been a busy wizard. Possession of an unregistered homunculus. Astral projection in a restricted dimension. Possession of chaos crystals with intent to distribute.
I had no intention of sharing those. Those were for me.
Granting sentience to a flammable object. And you pirated a sea shanty. That's quite the rap sheet.
Don't forget melting a pig.
Melting? I didn't see that here.
This is Trismegistus Conethorpe, also known as the Wizard Magius, disgraced member of the Round Council. Already on probation with the Shadowstar Alliance and wanted by the Mad King for crimes against insanity, he's about to find himself in some seriously hot cauldron water.
Anti-magic manacles, pal. Not gonna work.
Fuck!
You have the right to remain silent. You have waived the right to cast silence. Where were you on the night of the third moon cycle?
I think I was in my tower doing a potion.
Yeah, poor Jaybird.
This is amazing.
What's
I've
that?
seen enough.
I don't know.
I'm going to go
never
watch
seen that
all of
before.
this channel tonight.
We've found this in your bag of holding.
I was holding that bag of holding for a friend.
It's the Obama-nomicon. One of the 12 forbidden tomes.
The Obama, the book of Obama's name.
Am I under arrest? Look at the body language here. Notice how the cone of his hat is angled away from the investigator. Already a clear sign of discomfort. This wizard is nervous.
To Magius, my partner in crime. Happy 423rd, my man. Signed, Oblivicus the Shadowmancer.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm 424, so that really could be anybody. Named Magius.
Look, possession of something like this alone could land you in prison for a long time.
Please, no prison can hold me.
No, not prison. Prism.
Yeah,
That can hold me.
that could hold me. Prism is jail for wizards.
A lot of dark magic in here. Power word peel. Shrink helmet. Slurt. It's got slurt. I mean, these spells are all super illegal.
I wouldn't know. I don't know what those are.
What's decapistrate?
If I had to guess. And your penis off at the same time. But again, I really wouldn't know because I don't know what that is.
What about glory portal?
Glory Portal. A 5th level conjuration spell that summons a tomato-sized portal to the suction dimension at waist height. The portal lasts about 1.5 to 6 minutes, or until the caster is done using it. The spell requires concentration. I wouldn't even begin to know what that is, or why anyone would cast that spell.
Really? Because you bookmarked it right here.
I've never seen that bookmark in my life. The guard is getting nowhere and will now need to apply pressure using a number of sophisticated psychological techniques from his investigative tool belt.
Oh no.
You like that? You like the big pliers on your hand? No! Okay, here's a hot poker.
By allowing the pliers to remove the suspect's fingernails and also jamming a hot poker into his head, the investigator has subtly changed the atmosphere of the room.
Subtly changed
ever
the
so slightly increasing the chances of a confession.
Okay, fine, fuck, it's mine, it's mine! Ah! All right, good. Now we're getting somewhere.
All right. It's another several minutes long, but you
That's enough. All right.
I don't even know how big the channel is. They're probably not as much as they deserve because everything I see from them is pretty fucking hilarious and
Should link
and
the channel
original.
in the chat.
Wizards
Bob-
with guns. Yeah, let me find that.
Bob wants to watch it. I imagine some of our people.
I have found my new Gooner channel.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, 960, not quite a million. So let's get them
Nice.
there, folks. I mean, you know, there's many channels that have more subs that don't deserve them.
That's true.
So, yeah, it seems to be just like a handful of people that do this too. There's some pretty funny stuff making fun of the MCU. It's not all actually involving wizards. Some of it, but yeah.
Well, that's lame. Fuck that. I want wizards.
Some of it is just random weirds. Like a mega billionaire can't relate to his millionaire friends. So it's got potential.
Okay, that's actually pretty funny.
And I'm glad I found it because it does have underscores. So there you go.
There you go.
All right. That's it, folks. That's all we got. Hope you have a lovely week. Look for the showcast this week. I believe maybe it seems like Bob Chaos is possibly talking about being on this week. We shall see.
Bob Chaos magic.
Some chaos magic.
So before we go, I know this is the behind the scenes question, but are we sticking around after the stream in the studio?
That is up to you two.
Well, yeah, we will for a few minutes after. Yeah, just a couple minutes anyway.
Okay.
But, and on that note, billionaires suck. They should all die. Love you. Bye.
The industry and those of us that live in California are reviewing the billionaires tax. The question that a lot of people submitted to me to ask you is, how does that impact that talent pool and the industry and Silicon Valley? Is it something that's of concern to you, or it is not?
You know, I got to tell you, I haven't thought about it even once. We work in Silicon Valley because that's where the talent pool is, and we have offices all over the world wherever there's talent. We have offices. We have office in Germany. We have office in all over the world, and so we chose to live in Silicon Valley, and whatever taxes I guess they would like to apply, so be it. I'm perfectly fine with it. It never crossed my mind once.